The Monday night meltdown has begun. The late night anger management class, the pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between, from coast to motherfucking coast and every other coast in between. Let's do this thing. It's the Monday night meltdown. I am Gabriel Morency. I appreciate everybody tuning in here this evening. We had a pretty fast first half tonight in Glendale, I believe it is, and we missed the half. Normally, Dave Malinsky joins us, midway through the half or so. But it is what it is. The second half has started. The Dallas Cowboys are actually moving the football to start this second half. So, of course, we'll keep you up to date what's going on throughout the evening. We'll give you our opinions as far as the live in-game numbers are concerned and the current live game in number. Right back to where we started before the game. Live in-game right now, 7-7, minus 2.5, minus 140. Yet the total is 36.5. 36.5 is the live in-game total. 3rd and 6 right now for Dak Prescott and the Cowboys at midfield. Pretty big play here to determine the direction of this football game. Dak Prescott under pressure, scrambling, throws it away. Arizona gets the stop. The second half is off and running, as is the Monday night meltdown. And Dave Malinsky's ready to step up and in from the bullpen in Las Vegas, Nevada. You read his daily column, sportsbookreview.com, and to support this program and all the other great videos and programming at sportsbookreview.com. Go to the website and click one of the sports books. That's all you got to do. You know you're betting anyway, so why not bet with one of the books that helps keep this programming going. Let's bring in Dave Malinsky. Dave, it's always a pleasure, sir. How you doing?
You know, Gabriel, as a tribute to all that you've done and all the work we've done through the years, I took a knee while you were doing your opening there. I thought that was the right thing to do. Deference out of respect. I took a knee.
I appreciate that, Dave. I sincerely do. And I took a knee in protest as well, in protest of the Oakland Raiders play calling. Was it Todd Downey? Great job last night, Todd Downey. I don't know, Dave. I've never seen so many quarterbacks drop back to pass in shotgun. It's like college now. NFL quarterbacks aren't in shotgun, even in goal line situations. They're not under center in goal line situations. They're in shotgun. Or it'll be a 3rd and 8. They set up in shotgun, so then they drop back 7 or 8 yards. So they're 16 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And then they throw it 8 yards back to the original line of scrimmage. I swear I've never seen that as much as I've seen in my life over the last 2 weeks.
You know what's happening? We've talked a lot about how bad these offensive lines are. Written about it almost ad nauseum at point blank. I almost feel like it's being repetitive. These offensive coordinators seem like they're afraid of their own blockers. They're afraid of their own offensive lines, and they're trying to find ways to counter around that. But how about this, Gabe? And this matters for the in-running. People still looking at Dallas, Arizona hard. We came into this season thinking that Dallas might have had the best offensive line in the NFL. No worse than one of the top 2 or 3. First half of this game, Ezekiel Elliott, 41 yards after contact, but only 31 net yards. Now think about that. That means he more yards after contact than he had yards overall. That Dallas offensive line, for the second game in a row, a line we thought was going to be good because they've been so good, Gabe, they're not getting any leverage at all. I thought they'd come out the first drive of the second half and establish themselves a little bit. They still haven't done that. So even the good offensive lines, outside of Tennessee, is there any offensive line around the league that grades out all that well through 3 weeks?
I would have to say one offensive line and their defensive line playing well. I'll give them credit. The Buffalo Bills. Offensive line, yet they had trouble running the football, obviously, against Carolina as well. But, as usual, that's why I call you Professor Dave. You were bang on. You were spot on this, calling this out. And we can talk about quarterback play and running backs, etc. But it starts and ends with the offensive line. This evening as well, and something we saw last night, the play calling last night, atrocious. I remember asking Kyle Turley this, and, I've got to become good friends with Kyle Turley over the years. And Kyle tells it like it is, played in the NFL a long time. And I asked him, why don't teams run the ball more? And he was an O-lineman. I said, why don't they run the ball more when you guys are on the 2-yard line and stuff? And he basically stated, because coordinators think they're geniuses. A lot of them didn't even play the game. And they have a bunch of fancy plays, and they want to use them. and they simply overthink things. He very simplified. He goes, I'm not kidding. They overthink things. It's always got to be some creative sort of bullshit, to get the ball in the end zone because they want to justify their creativity, so to speak, instead of just lining it up. But for fuck's sakes, Dave, and pardon, there's the first F-bomb here, man, but for fuck's sakes, the play calling is just fucking atrocious. It's baffling to me, Dave, across the league.
Well, look at what happened on the first Arizona play, of the third quarter. Here's one of your issues with play calling. What can my guys actually block? So what are we capable of executing? Ideally, you'd like to get the ball down, but that's what Arizona wants to do. How many shots can they take down the field? Because as the second quarter wore on, Dallas started getting to Palmer a lot more. Now you're seeing what's happening there. There aren't that many offensive coordinators, I think, who can really trust. One is the executing the play, but also trying to save hits on your quarterback, not have him take too many. And that's going to be one of the Buffalo issues that, Tyrod Taylor's a good runner, but you can't afford to have him take hits. Russell Wilson in Seattle. If Seattle's going to run effectively, Wilson running has to be part of that. He can't afford to take hits. If Houston is going to run effectively, Deshaun Watson has to be able to break the line of scrimmage. He can't afford to take hits. It's going to be interesting to see how some of these things unfold over time.
Dave Malinsky with us, and we see the sack props, and I'm a big prop player, Dave. And, the props is something that I've been betting blindly here often recently, and I'm on the props tonight. I haven't even checked how many sacks. Are the over in the sacks? I just stated it's a pretty common theme. I mean, even Dak, the supposed, the Superman Dak Prescott and that Superman offensive line of the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott's running for his life right now. Let me check. I'll check the box score right now. But generally, Dave, the sack prop is 4.5. They don't really move from it all that too often. You might get an even 5 every now and then. But the sack prop to the over has cashed. And I haven't bet it on every game, actually. I'd like to do a study on that. But we're routinely getting 6 and 7 and 8 sacks a game. Quarterbacks on both teams are usually getting sacked 3 or 4 times a game routinely now, Dave.
Yeah, sacks are up 1 full percent, across the NFL. So if you figure in an average game, you got about 35 passes. That's 2/3 of a sack per game as an increase over what it was in the past. That's something that's likely to hold up. Here's what's really interesting about the sack percentage. When you look at the teams at the very bottom of this, Buffalo, number 28, Carolina, number 27, the Chiefs, 31, Houston, 32. Those are 4 teams with mobile quarterbacks. So even the teams with Tyrod Taylor, Cam Newton, Alex Smith, Deshaun Watson, even the teams with mobile quarterbacks. Now, again, a lot of that Houston was the Tom Savage before he got benched. But even those teams with mobile quarterbacks are having a difficult time. But, we talked about this Tennessee offensive line that we like. Their sack percentage, 2%. That's it for the entire year. 102 dropbacks by the Titans. Only 2 sacks out of 102. Some of that's Mariota's wheels. But no, I like that offensive line. It's something you and I talked about on last Monday's show. The Giants get sacked because they can't run play action. If you fake a handoff to any of the Giant running backs, that doesn't slow anybody down. Tennessee can do that. So here's your good offensive line. Here's your mobile quarterback. And when Mariota fakes a handoff to either of his running backs, the defensive line has to respect that. So Tennessee is a team that's got some real interesting upside as this season unfolds.
Yeah, I thought it was an impressive win for Tennessee yesterday. It was a real street fight. Seattle tried to turn it into a street fight, and Tennessee held their ground and ended up getting it done. All right, so the current in-game now, Dallas Cowboys out of the football once again. And for the record, the sacks, for those of you that bet the over in the sacks, 4.5 was the pregame prop. They're already at 4 sacks right now, so one more sacks gets us that win. Cowboys are now minus 3.5, total down to 35.5 right now. Okay, Dave, so let's jump in. The reason that, we gave Mr. Malinsky the option. The week you want to join us here on SBR, Dave. We're on 5 nights a week, including actually 6 nights with Big Man on Campus with the BetCast that people are really enjoying. Last night was pretty rough, though, to be honest with you. But Dave chose Monday night, going back. So, Dave, did you used to do the Stardust show on the Sunday night, the opening lines right out of the gate on Sunday nights, or was it on Monday?
No, that was on Sunday nights. Well, we did 2 hours for a lot of years, and then at the end, the last couple of years, we're doing 3 hours, 9 to midnight on the West Coast. What was great about the Stardust line, and you know from being out here, KDON, it's just kind of a spooky radio station.
I've been there, Dave. I've been in that. It's scary here, right?
That's like
I did a show out of there. I used to do a show, Dave, Sunday night at midnight, man. That parking lot used to freak me the fuck out, honestly.
It's a bizarre place. But what KDON had is a signal that carried all the way from Tijuana to Vancouver. So on a Sunday night, we had a clear signal and a big, because it wasn't that long ago. We're only talking about 20 years ago. You couldn't look at your computer and see what the opening line was for the next week. People honestly didn't know. They're listening to us 9 o'clock Pacific on a Sunday because that's the first time they hear what the bettable line is going to be. Great audience for it. I kind of miss those days. Of course, in those days, I could still be up at midnight on a Sunday. It's been a long time since I've seen midnight on a foot. I see midnight on football Saturdays because we got these Pac-12 games that run late.
Yeah.
USC Washington State this Friday night's got a good chance to run to midnight. Midnight on Sundays, never going to happen again.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I had money on the Washington State, Boise State game or whenever it was, the late night game. Last week, Saturday, of course, I had money on the Wyoming game. And, I was up all day, Dave. I'm doing TV hits in the morning, and it's relentless. And I just want to go to sleep. I'm like, fuck. This fucking game's going to overtime now. I got $300 on it. I got to ride this out. All right, Cowboys moving the ball. Elliott getting a little space. Elliott, big pop here. Big run for Elliott down to the Arizona Cardinal 15-yard line right now. Dallas Cowboys on the move. Dave, it's amazing, and you've been around a long time, and I'd love to get some Roxy stories out of you in the future with Roxy Roxborough. But I was telling a story the other night about calling the old score lines, and my girlfriend thought I was cheating on her because I was going to the payphone every 10 minutes during a movie once. And I used to go. There used to be a diner right across the street from the Montreal Forum, and that's where all the players ate and the bands that would play. So it was one of those places with pictures of Ozzy and Gretzky on the wall and everything. And I used to live across the street from the place, and they used to be the first ones to get the newspaper. Because they were like an overnight diner. They were like historic. Oh, Bryant trying to push in the end zone, touchdown. Looks like he's in. Yes, Cowboys touchdown. So they used to be the first ones to get the paper, Dave. And I used to stay up, man, till like 3:30, 4 in the morning, and like clockwork. I'd get some food, some greasy food. At 3:30, 4 in the morning, I get the paper just so I can get my hands on the overnight line, the Roxy line. There was no computers in those days.
Yeah, it's funny.
Stay up overnight to get the fucking newspaper, so I'd know the numbers before I'd go to bed. I'd like to go to bed knowing what the numbers were, and then I'd wake up and already know the numbers.
It's an irony that you bring Roxy up because we'll be having lunch at the Peppermill tomorrow. In fact, right after we finish.
You got to introduce me sometime, Dave. I'd love that. I'd love to meet Roxy. I look up to him. Like I said, he's a big part of my gambling life, the Roxy line.
I literally will be going right from our gig on the Fantasy Network tomorrow. The minute that I get off the air with you, straight over to the Peppermill. Roxy comes here for a little, usually each year, August into September a little bit, for the racing at Del Mar, which he likes. Now, he'll be heading back over to Thailand for a little while. So this is sort of like the farewell lunch before he goes back to his home in Thailand. Spends a fair amount of time, though, here in the city. Probably going to spend more as the years go by, but well, when you talk about great stories, absolute classic. And what we're going to have to do is maybe get him recorded someday. Do a little documentary. You would be a great guy to interview him because you come from just the right perspective.
Yeah, and exactly. I grew up, and it's because before him, it was just sort of the AP line, or who was it before? It was in the newspaper the old days for recreational purposes only. And it's funny, Dave, my first radio show, that's how we started. I bought an ad under the odds. You know what I mean? So you had the odds in the paper in the Montreal Gazette, and then under the odds, I had a little box. Tune in to Sports Weekly on CFMB. Football picks, and I had my little thing going back to the old days. But yeah, it's amazing how everything's Everything's changed right now. So this is under review. Even if it's not a touchdown, the Cowboys going to have first and goal and on the goal line. And it looks like they just called it a touchdown. Yes. Play stands as called. All right, Dave, so let's jump in and talk some football, some upcoming football. NFL, it's going to be already a quarter way through when we talk next week. That's the crazy thing about the NFL. It's like life itself. Season flies by. So let's take a look at some of the opening numbers. The Green Bay Packers are laying 7 points. Total's 45.5. Thursday night football. Truth be told, looks like the Bears are getting a little bit of respect here from the odds makers, Dave. I mean, I don't know what the preseason number for this was, but I imagine it would have been 9.5, 10, wouldn't it have been?
Well, think about what Pittsburgh was laying on the road yesterday. You know, essentially Green Bay's almost laying as low as Pittsburgh was on the road. So there has been, let's call it shrinkage. Here's the difficulty from a handicapping standpoint. The Bear offense had one play that worked against the Steelers, but they were able to run it over and over and over again. They were able to keep running Howard and Cohen on those stretch plays. Pittsburgh never figured them out. Mike Glennon, the entire game, completed one pass to a wide receiver for 9 yards. That was the entirety of Glennon to the wideouts. So now here comes the question. Can Green Bay figure this out? And will Dom Capers tweak his scheme? We've written about the Nitro defense in point blank. Essentially, the base Packer defense right now is a 2-3-6. 6 defensive backs, 3 linebackers, only 2 down linemen. That's the wrong way to play the Bears. If you've only got 2 down linemen, they're going to power up. They're going to get the ball to Howard on the stretch plays, get him on the edge, and they're going to dare these smaller guys to make tackles. So can Capers change up his defense in a short week? And can he get Kentrell Brice? Brice is probably the best tackling safety that they have. Brice didn't play against the Bengals. Will he be available? If not, I don't like this number, but there's a matchup that tells me that the Bears should be able to run the ball into that base Packer defense right now.
You know, Dave, I caught a lot of heat. Yeah, yesterday I was doing a show with Donnie Rightside, 12-1, and I told anyone who would listen, I did a lot of radio hits. I said this on ESPN Tampa on Friday. I said the Cincinnati Bengals are going to beat the Packers outright, and, man, I came close to looking like a genius, but close only counts with grenades, horseshoes, and lap dances. But nevertheless, I covered the number right there, and it could have won.
Does close really count in lap dances?
Yeah, I guess.
I gotta ask because I don't know. You know, since I don't have the firsthand experience, I have to because I'm used to hearing the first 2 references, but not the third.
Yeah, you're paying for contact, so yeah, it better be close. Yeah, if you're paying, you know, I'll say depends what city you're in, Dave. My hometown in Montreal, the lap dances get pretty touchy-feely.
Well, yeah, but that's because a lot of the lap dancers didn't shave their legs in Montreal.
No. Come on, Dave.
I had to do that. I was obligated to throw that one at you.
Yeah. Dave's throwing fucking high heat right now. He's throwing high heat. All right, you know.
But anyway, you do understand the reference.
Yeah, but Cincinnati, I think, are better than Chicago, and they hung around in that football game. Disappointing. One thing with Chicago beating Pittsburgh, and I brought this up, and it's funny because someone in the chat. And you wouldn't be a big fan of chats, Dave. But somebody in the chat brought up, because I said I think some of this protest stuff can be a distraction to some football teams. And it wasn't to the Buffalo Bills. They channeled it properly, and they beat the Denver Broncos. But, you know, the Pittsburgh Steelers, I was talking about the Steelers because it came, you know, news broke about an hour before the game that they were going to stay in the tunnel for the national anthem. And I said, you know, obviously this was something that was discussed in their locker room, which is time taken away from thinking about the football game and the Chicago Bears. And somebody said, oh, that's fucking stupid. You know, protests have nothing to do with the outcome of football games. And I thought it was pretty telling. I heard Ben Roethlisberger, who's trying to distance himself and backpedal from the whole thing today. Ben Roethlisberger said he didn't sleep a minute on Saturday night. Said he was up all night thinking about this anthem and a protest and them in the tunnel, and he was concerned about it. And then they go out and lose. So clearly it was a distraction for some players and some teams.
Yeah, the issue we've got with Ben is whether it's physical or mental, he has been the least accurate downfield passer.
I saw that, Dave. So what? He's only completed 2 passes, like further than 14 yards all year, I believe.
Yeah, and usually Roethlisberger tended to be upper tier, or at least upper half in that category. When he said that he was close to retirement, it caught a lot of people by surprise. He may know more about his body than maybe those of us who watch him. He may be feeling something. This has looked like an old Ben Roethlisberger so far this year.
Yeah, I've been hesitant too. I've been warning people about that. Actually, I stay far away from him in fantasy as well. Okay, Dave. So we got another game from London, England. New Orleans Saints. I was on the Saints yesterday. Nice performance by them. I thought it was a good spot for them, and I was also on the Jets. Yes, I don't know why I'm not rich. I had a bunch of wins, but my money management was bad late in the day. I.e. a Raider-Redskin game. So Saints coming off a cover and a win. Dolphins coming off a flat performance against the Jets. Now I like the Dolphins against the Chargers because they were underdogs in that spot. It's a different scenario though when they're laying points. So I like the Jets yesterday. Now we have the Saints laying a field goal here. What do you make of this one? And the total is 49.5. For the record, it's total is 45.5 in the Bears-Packers game. But the Saints-Dolphins, Saints -3, total 49.5 in this game from London.
You can still get this in 2.5s. They got him here in Nevada. There are a few offshore. Penny sitting on a 2.5 -15. I would lay a 2.5 before it's going to close at 3. I think the Saints are so much further ahead of Miami in terms of their identity. Yeah, that defense was a disappointment the first 2 weeks. Pretty solid yesterday. The offense has actually been good, but the first 2 weeks had to play from behind so much, so they got away from what they wanted to do. But think about this setup. Saints are already in London. They decided to get straight over there. They will settle in. The Miami guys had to go to L.A. a week early, spend an entire time at Oxnard at the Cowboy practice facility. They didn't know till the end of that week, just before the Charger game, that they'd be able to get back to Miami. Because remember, they left before Irma. So these guys had this uncertainty. What are our homes like? What do we have to do? So they go from spending all that time in Oxnard back to Miami. They fly to New York. Instead of going from New York straight to London, they're going back to Miami again. There's a lot of travel involved for a Miami team that can't afford that travel right now. Because keep in mind, New Orleans can let it all hang out in London. They're off next week. Miami isn't. They got to come home and play Tennessee.
And they get Willie Snead back too, Dave.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of pluses for New Orleans. Take a look. Now, we'll do this in the Tuesday Point Blank, which you could find at sbrpicks.com each day. We're going to break down those Miami stats because until that final drive against the Jets, Miami had 140 yards. That was a bad performance by the Dolphins. They may not be in rhythm yet. It's not asking for a lot for New Orleans to just win this game by 3 points. Like I said, in Vegas right now, 2.5 is easy to find. You got to shop a little bit offshore, but you can find one. I'd go ahead and lock in.
I'm seeing right now. You're right. Offshore, it seems to be pretty much 3. But yeah, the Wind's got 2.5. Cantor's got 2.5. Station's got 2.5 right now. MGM's dealing 3s. Westgate's dealing 3s as well. Carolina and New England, and I tell you, the New England Patriots put a real scare into the survivor pool players. Although, and it's funny, some people call it suicide pool, some people call it survivor pools. I guess if you're a cup half full or a half empty guy. But, Dave, it's funny. I got so much going on. I was doing all these shows, and, normally I like to get my survivor pick in on a Wednesday or Thursday night, get it over with. I don't have to worry about it or think about it. But I did it, and I was like 12:45, man, on Sunday morning. I'm like, holy shit. I think I was doing a show with Donnie. It was right before I went with Donnie. So right at like 11:50, I was like, man, I got to get this Survivor thing, and I got to do this. I sort of went over it. I do a Survivor show every Wednesday. But I didn't love it from a Survivor perspective, and I actually was going to take the Colts. I was like, I could take the Colts. No one's going to do this. I think the Colts are going to win. But I was like, I'll take the easy one. I'll take the Patriots. For the love of God, the Patriots scared the hell out of me for the Survivor pool. And now they're taking on the Carolina Panthers this week. A little bit disparity here. Some places have it 8.5. Some places have it 9. Totals, some places 48, some places 48.5. But those are the consensus numbers.
Something to be frightened about with the Patriots, and this will be another point-blank topic on Tuesday. The worst defense in the NFL by a pretty big margin. NFL average this year, 5.3 yards per play. Patriots are giving up 7.1, almost 2 yards more than league average. There are only 3 other defenses within a yard of what the Patriots are allowing.
How's that possible, David? They were the best defense in the league last year, or at least points scored allowed, and they seemingly added more than they lost, right? Didn't they?
Well, let's think about what bad defense does. If you want to be frightened by something, you're +2 in turnovers against Kansas City, +85 in penalty yards, lose the game. If Brady doesn't make that final drive happen, they were +1 in turnovers and +31 yards in penalties. They were going to lose again. Now, if you're a big favorite at home, Kansas City game closed 8, 8.5. Houston game closed 13, 13.5. If you're a big home favorite and you have a turnover advantage, those teams don't ever lose games. Patriots almost lost twice with an advantage. That's how much that defense is holding them back. Because think about the past. You would usually love Belichick and Matt Patricia against the rookie quarterback. They would go out and force mistakes. They would confuse him. Well, Houston rings up over 400 yards and over 6 yards of play. Yeah, they did get 2 interceptions off Watson, but he didn't look confused that often in the game. The Patriots defense just looks really disjointed at this point. They easily could have lost that game. If Houston could just convert a 3rd down and 1, and they go in, and again, they had to settle for a field goal instead of a touchdown. But if they get that 3rd and 1 at the end, it's not so much going on to get a touchdown. It's the time they take off the clock. If they convert 1 3rd down and 1 play, the Patriots would be 0-2 as home favorites with a turnover and a penalty advantage in both games. That doesn't happen very often.
Can Carolina do enough offensively? And I know Deshaun Watson and the Texans' offense, aren't known as an explosive one, but there's something special about that kid, as we see. The big play that he made against Cincinnati for the win, the big plays that he made. Yes, he's going to make mistakes. Yes, he's raw. His mechanics are off still right now, but you can tell that there's just, he has that it factor around him. Going to have a lot of negatives, Dave, but can Carolina's offense do enough to move the football to stay within this number?
Probably not. We saw how much we saw how much Greg Olsen's impact already made.
Now Kelvin Benjamin now hurt too.
Yeah, without Olsen and Benjamin, that offense was really lost out there yesterday. Cam Newton doesn't look right. They didn't want to play him much in August because they said he was hurt. We don't know for sure that Newton is at full health. He has not played. Even that opener against San Francisco, Newton didn't throw the ball terribly well. So here's where I think the line is too high on general principles, Patriots being overvalued. Because again, like yesterday, Houston had about as big a defensive edge as you'll find for a double-digit dog. Carolina has a monster defensive edge for a 9-point dog. You rarely see that. I just can't trust the Carolina offense as it's constituted right now. So I can't take it. If it gets to 10, maybe, but not less.
Next game in the rotation, 255, 256 are the Rams and the Cowboys, who, of course, are playing as we speak. So it's limited coverage on this football game. Although I am seeing some 8s and 8.5s offshore popping up. Bet Online has got an 8.5 up on the board right now with the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys in action. Hard for us to judge it, until we see how this Cowboy game plays out. But nevertheless, Rams with an extended break. Rams with a lot of confidence. The question is, how are the Rams going to how are they going to travel? Road, but that was an in-state game against San Francisco that was half empty. It's going to be a different scenario taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Although, even though Dallas has that massive stadium, and I tweeted out earlier, I said tonight in Arizona, it sounds like a Cowboys home game except louder. Dallas's stadium is sort of like the Big House in Michigan. It's really big, but it's not really intimidating, if that makes sense. Like, it's almost too luxurious, the Cowboys stadium. And it's too cavernous. It's like a shopping mall or a movie theater. It's not like that rowdy, hostile road environment that you get in some places. But just my gut instinct tells me right now, McVay's made all the difference in the world. Guys are wide open on every play. I like the schemes. Defensively, they should only get better as their littlest man. Prescott's running for his freaking life. So what do you make of this? Point spread feels a little bit high, my gut instinct tells me.
It's not acknowledging how improved the Rams are. Our big concern is going to be that Ram rush defense. And it's going to be another Tuesday point blank topic. We wanted to think that Wade Phillips had a resurrection as a defensive coordinator, because he always seemed like a nice guy. You always wanted Wade to do better. Comes to Denver, back-to-back seasons, they rate #1 in total defense. He gets a Super Bowl ring. Well, guess what? The Denver defense arguably has been better without Phillips, and the Rams defense has gotten worse with Wade Phillips. Big issue, the Rams have looked really disorganized against the run. Their linebackers and their safeties have just had a lot of assignment mistakes. That's tough when you're playing the Cowboys on the road. You've got to be able to get someone in the box to stop Elliott. Issue here, though, because, again, even tonight, the Dallas offensive line is not playing well. The one strength the Rams have, Aaron Donald and their defensive front, is one of the best in the NFL. Linebackers and secondary know that defensive front, though, might be able to cause a little havoc against a Dallas offensive line. Just based on the first 3 weeks of this season, Dallas is not supposed to be laying more than a touchdown.
Dave, what do you make of the in-game number right now at 37.5? Current number, Cowboys -6.5. Arizona's got pretty good field position right now. So they're at 21 right now. As far as the total at 37.5 is concerned, you think we can see 17 points put up on the board in this game?
Yeah, if you're looking to Arizona, you should be able – you don't have to do much to get a field goal out of this next possession. So that would get you back underneath the 6.5. But we talk about what – there are a couple times when we thought Dallas had the momentum and would make something happen. Well, they didn't. They didn't open the second half with a good drive, got a touchdown out of a short field, but then the first possession after the touchdown, another 3 and out. So even though Dallas is a substantial favorite, they don't necessarily have command of the game right now.
I know, and it's hard to jump on the over. It seems like a little value at 37.5 to the over, but both these offenses are stalling. They'll make a play or two. Both teams are getting a pass rush on the opposing quarterbacks. All right. So as we stated, the Rams are getting 8.5 right now at some spots. No line on the board right now for Detroit and Minnesota due to Sam Bradford's questionable status, which leads us into a team that you've been speaking pretty highly of so far this evening, the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans laying a point on the road at Houston in a pretty damn big divisional game right here, considering the Titans are 2-1 right now, and the Texans find themselves at 1-2. We talked about it a lot, Dave, coming into this year. The Houston Texans had a tough schedule out of the gate. They had the supposed free pass with Jacksonville, but then they at Cincinnati and they at New England. So they managed. They should. I think they expected to be 2-1 at this point in time. They're 1-2, but if they're 1-3, and Tennessee is 3-1, and Tennessee still has a home game in their back pocket against Houston, puts the Titans in a nice situation right now, and it puts the Texans in a hole. This is a very big football game already early in the year.
Yeah, the question about Tennessee is how much moxie, is there. What I'm starting to like about them is they got a big home win outside the division against Denver late last season. Now they get the win over Seattle. Those are those little games that just get some confidence creeping into a team because Tennessee's got the physical talent. For them, it's been an issue of having the polish to finish it off and having the confidence.
That's going to help the total, Dave. Big play. Orlando Scandrick gets burnt by Larry Fitzgerald. Carson Palmer goes deep.
It's real because 14-14 can open up a possible overtime, all sorts of sequences that could come out of that. So that does make a difference. Ball a little bit underthrown. Fitzgerald made a good reaction to it, something he does about as well as anyone. He finds the football down the field.
They just popped it to 39.5. They popped the total up to 39.5. I'll bite a small piece here. I think it'll open up a little bit here as well. Because even if they get the field goal, I think Dallas will respond. Arizona will get a little bit desperate. I think it'll open up. All right, Dave. So I'm going small too. I got a big play on the Cowboys. I got the Cowboys in the Super Contest too. I didn't really want to mess with the total too much tonight. I was going to I teased the Cowboys to the over, but I had a problem getting it in. So I figured now, all right, I'll even up that tease. Okay, so what's the next game in a rotation here? One thing with this Houston game too. So Houston, they've been on the road, Dave. So they played that home opener after all that Hurricane Harvey stuff. And touchdown. And J.J. Watt, of course, man, this is like a fucking time machine, man. Carson Palmer and Fitzgerald. I thought Fitzgerald was supposed to be a slot guy, Dave. He looks like he did 8 years ago right now.
He's sort of like one of these aging pitchers who still has control and can work the corners. He can still outthink so many defensive backs. And that's literally, he turns a guy inside out, corner right in the end zone. He still has those smarts.
That was look at the Rudy run too, Dave. You don't know where he's going. You know, he went right, he went left, and then he just takes off. That's hard to cover. That's a professional wide receiver right there.
Yeah, and a lot of that is that there may have been some improv. That's something that Palmer and Fitzgerald have been able to do over time, trusting each other. So that Fitzgerald said, look, I'm going to go about 12 yards down the field, and I'm either going to go to the post or the corner based on where I feel the defensive guy is. That might have been one of those option routes. A nice combination, because that was a well-thrown ball. When Palmer has his pocket, he can still throw the ball well. It's just when he gets outside the pocket, he's not what he once was. He had his pocket, made a clean throw.
All right, so as I was stating with Houston before the touchdown there, Houston had that Hurricane Harvey stuff. J.J. Watt was raising the money, and we all got caught up in it. Oh, they're going to win, and you know, they're at home. You had that special sort of like life's a Disney movie or something like that. And they did it. Then they went on the road and they took care of business, and Deshaun Watson got it done. It was ugly, but they beat Cincinnati. Yesterday, they gave New England all that they can handle. Yes, they lost, but the schedule gets a little bit easier right now. If I'm Houston, I'm not really in panic mode. I feel pretty good about this. You know, we're at home right now. We played the Bengals on the road and the Patriots on the road. We've only played one home game so far. We haven't played we lost to Jacksonville, but we haven't played Tennessee yet. So if I'm Houston, I tell the guys, listen, we win this football game, we're 2-2, we're right in this thing, guys. You know, Houston, I think Houston feels pretty good about themselves and pretty good about Deshaun Watson moving forward. Can Mariota do this on the road as well, Dave? You know, 2 to 3 games for the Titans have been at home so far. Now they go on the road. Well, I think the number's a little low. I'm leaning Houston right now.
You mean the number's a little high? In fact, we are seeing a few Tennessee -2s start to creep up this evening. There was a little tight money. I think it's a little bit high too. I thought the game should have been pick'em. Houston is believing.
Lower high. Yeah, Dave, yeah. You're right. We can choose the way of putting it. You're right. I think I'm getting fair value with Houston. I'll put it that way. Yes.
Here's the one thing that you will notice a lot when you follow football real closely is, look, these guys are at practice every day. When they believe in their quarterback, they bring extra energy. So when you're Houston and you got a Tom Savage out there, you don't work very hard. You don't stay after practice to have him throw balls. So you don't study the films at night. Look at how different the energy is for that team right now, because these guys believe in Deshaun Watson, similar to Tennessee believing in Mariota. So I think what's been a bad energy for the Houston offense, not just earlier this year, but for several seasons, they haven't had a quarterback that everybody else could believe in. They've got that now. So you're going to see that energy pick up a little bit. If you've got the lead at New England into the final minute, you come away with a little bit of swagger. So did they lose the game? I don't believe so. For their own confidence, I don't think the win or the loss mattered yesterday. I think the way they played mattered.
I agree. I completely agree. I think they're feeling good about themselves. This is a massive football. If they don't win this game, then the morale is going to be a little bit worse. But it's almost a do-over after the disastrous home opener against Jacksonville. So speaking of Jacksonville, they're next up in the rotation, 2-6-1, 2-6-2. Jacksonville and the Jets. Before the year started, this is one of the games that people had circled that the Jets will win or could win. This one and the game against the Cleveland Browns. I thought that, before the season started, I said, no, Jacksonville are better than the Jets. I'm not counting on the Jets to win that football game, but Jets got it done yesterday. Props to them. There's Dak Prescott running for his freaking life right now. Wow. He looks like it's like college or something. He's just doing it all by himself, Dave. It's unbelievable. Like, damn, he's good, Dak. He's so calm for a young guy. So you got the Jets coming off a win right now. The Jets are battling hard. So can we trust Jacksonville laying 3.5 on the road? What do you make of this line? Is that, and the total's 40?
Yeah, I don't know if there ever comes a point where we say, okay, we've seen enough from Blake Bortles, we can trust him now. I don't think he's ever going to break out of character. He got a chance to be a game manager against the Ravens. So there wasn't a whole lot of pressure on him. But no, there's that erratic aspect. Now, do the Jaguars start to believe in themselves, though? Because guess what? Now you've got a couple of wins. And the transition back from London is something they've been through enough, so it's not that new for this bunch. I thought the Jets just took advantage of a very, very flat Miami team yesterday. It's going to be different this week. The Jets are going to have trouble blocking that Jacksonville defensive front. We still haven't seen the Jets offense show an ability to make plays. So you're not going to grind on Jacksonville. You're not going to have these 10-play, 75-yard drives. I like the matchup to Jacksonville a little bit, but I'm not going to play it because I'm not going to trust that psyche. Yeah, this is a take-care-of-business game. That's not a team we've been able to trust in that role.
Dallas's offense once again stalling. Third and 14 coming up right now. Just absolutely no rhythm whatsoever with this offense. There's been a couple of big plays, but there's been no consistent rhythm from this offense. Cincinnati Bengals going into Cleveland. To me, this is a game. I don't know. I don't know if they'll fire Marvin Lewis, but Andy Dalton is frustrating. They played their hearts out yesterday. They still fell short. And, to a man, I think the Cincinnati Bengals are a damn good football team. Joe Mixon showed us something yesterday. All right, their offensive line isn't great, and the Cowboys fall short and going to be punting the ball. Once again, a team on 3rd and 14, 3rd and long, they dump it off. It's like they just fucking concede the fucking football all the time, these teams in the NFL. But Cincinnati's, to me, I'm going to go back to the well one more time with Andy Dalton, Dave. It might be the death of me on who ruined my Sunday videos on Fantasy Sports Network, but to me, this is the game. The Bengals have to win this game. They can win this game.
Yeah, and let's talk about a mindset thing here a little bit. Baltimore and Pittsburgh lost yesterday. Yeah, it's one thing to be 0-3 if you're way out of it in your division, but right now the Bengals aren't out of anything yet. They will still have a lot of opportunity. So if you get this win, and it's not like they're that far off. The Houston game, swing one play, they win it. The Green Bay game, swing one play. Similar to Houston's loss at New England, I don't think Cincinnati comes away from Green Bay feeling like, oh, we lost. I think they come away thinking, you know what, we are getting better. We're making some things happen. Their problem, though, like everybody else, it's a bad offensive line. Maybe this is one matchup where they can work around that a little bit.
Divisional matchup. Baltimore Ravens were embarrassed in London, England, taking on Big Ben and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the Steelers find themselves in the middle of this whole anthem stuff, and Villanueva is the most sold jersey today in America, NFL.com. Now he's saying that he didn't even know his teammates weren't behind him and it was too late to go back, that he would never have done that and stood alone, that he feels embarrassed when he sees the picture. You have Villanueva who's backtracking from what he did and stating, it was an accident in the tunnel. I don't know how it really happened and how he explained it, but basically Villanueva was saying that he was together and he didn't realize that he was alone. It was too late to turn back, etc. And you got Ben Roethlisberger that's trying to distance himself from all this right now, stating that he regrets it and he couldn't sleep the night before. I imagine by the time the game rolls along, this stuff will die down. Unless, they have another fucking protest next week. Hard to trust Pittsburgh laying 3, but for the love of God, Dave, man, Baltimore's offense is bad.
And it's going to be bad. One of these we talked about on the show last Monday was there any indication that Joe Flacco was ready to play yet? Well, now we know that he's not really ready. But that Baltimore offensive line, losing Marshall Yanda was so much bigger than I think most people appreciate. In the offseason, they lost Suda and Wagner. But now, since training camp began, they're down 4 linemen. Urschel retired, 3 guys lost to injury. When we talk about how bad these offensive lines are around the league, it means there's also nobody available on the streets. There isn't enough depth. So it's not like Baltimore could say, okay, let's go get the best free agent out there. Those guys aren't available. That's a bad offensive line that's not going to get any better. Here's going to be the question with the Ravens. At what point do you consider Ryan Mallett? Because they gave Mallett a fair amount of playing time. At some point, you say, look, Joe, you just don't have it right now. Not that Mallett's anything special, but that's something I'm going to follow just to see if that starts to be a little bit of a distraction for the Ravens. I would favor Pittsburgh having a better opportunity to bounce back because the things the Bears did to the Steeler defense yesterday, the Ravens don't do. They don't have those stretch runs in their offensive playbook. But until Ben Roethlisberger shows that he's anywhere near his reputation, you can't be laying a price like this. This price is based more on Pittsburgh clicking than the Pittsburgh team I've been watching.
Is the total too high at 44? I mean, normally these teams play smash mouth football games, although every time there's got a feel that a game's going to be a low-scoring game and it's going to be an under, it skyrockets over the number like we saw with the Rams and 49ers the other night. But total 44 here, Dave. Is that too high? It feels a little too high to me. I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised it's not a 41, 42.
Penny opened at 45. That didn't last long. I don't think the 44s are going to last. I think you'll see 43.5 by the middle of the week, maybe even 43 at kickoff. They did open that one too high.
Buffalo Bills, 2-1 right now. The Buffalo Bills, pretty impressive. I'm a Buffalo Bill fan. I'm very impressed with Sean McDermott. And people often say that about young coaches. Oh, we like this guy. This team's going in the right direction. But Steve Merrill, a colleague of yours in the old days, Steve Merrill went to William and Mary, and so did Sean McDermott. And so Steve Merrill knows Sean McDermott a bit. And, he said Sean McDermott, they played with Mike Tomlin, actually, the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And, he said McDermott was like an overachiever dude, national champion, high school wrestler, prep high school wrestler, national champion. And, the guy is just, he's attention to detail. He's community focused. You know how many coaches, Dave, McDermott goes out before the tailgate and goes up to the fans. Hey, what you cooking over there? The other day he was eating chicken wings with the fans in the parking lot. He just gets it. You see his enthusiasm on the sidelines. Yesterday the fans he did the same thing. He's waving his hands with the crowd. He's very, very positive with the players. The Bills, they hold a team to a field goal, man. He's the first one. He's captain enthusiastic. But you saw, Ragland wasn't fitting in. Didn't matter that you're a big-time draft pick out of Bama. You got to go. Sammy Watkins, you got to go. I really like how he's changing things. The Bills still have a ways to go, but they're a well-coached team right now. What a fucking difference it makes, Dave, between him and Rex Ryan in the preparation.
Yeah, let's talk about two teams that are very similar. The Rams and the Bills, two of the most undercoached teams in the NFL in recent years.
Yep, Rex Ryan and Jeff Fisher, yep.
Yeah, now getting guys who have attention to the detail and also understand modern football. Fisher and Ryan had success as head coaches in a different era. So this wasn't their sport being played. One of the things we ran in Point Blank last week, and we'll probably run it again because it's a lot of fun. Look at the Buffalo defensive ratings at the Football Outsiders, the 2 years before Ryan gets there, the 2 years Ryan's there, and then immediately after Ryan leaves. They are such a better group when Ryan's not around. But now here comes your Buffalo problem. And we've talked about this every week. There is no chemistry between Tyrod Taylor and the wide receivers. They beat Denver with literally, let me look at 272 yards, 4.3 yards per play. LaShawn McCoy gets 1.5 yards per rush. There really wasn't any offense. So if you like Buffalo here, you want to think about Buffalo for the first half. Probably going to be able to take 4.5, take 5. Use your running game, play conservatively, stay in the hunt. If you fall behind and have to throw, like the game at Carolina, where the point's going to come from. Now, they managed to hang the number at Carolina anyway, but they couldn't score. In the second half, when they had to open up and throw, they didn't have any ability to do that. Part of this is the wide receiving group is new. The other part is, of course, Taylor missed so much time in August because of the concussion protocol. These guys just haven't had to work together. So if you like Buffalo here, you want Buffalo early in the game. And here's another one where I think the total is just a peanut high. Buffalo games aren't supposed to be sitting at 48.5.
Dave, I love my Buffalo Bills, and I'm wearing a Bills jersey right now. Somebody brought up there was a tag on it. Yeah, I just ripped the tag off. I left the tag in. I sort of grabbed this off the rack, so to speak, all right? Not from a store, but at our TV studio, we get a lot of gear, okay? We just got a new thing of New Era hats, all 32 teams, actually. Like, I see a couple of salesmen fucking with dolphin hats in their office. I'm like, that's for TV stuff, right? So, I figured, listen, everyone's grabbing shit. I'm the only Bills fan here. So I used to wear this shirt all the time, jersey, on the air, and, leave it in wardrobe. But now I said, fuck it. And now I just take it home. But I never ripped the tag off. So, yeah, I just ripped the tag off. Tag's gone. The tag's gone. Yeah, we got new hats. The first thing I did is I threw the Seattle hat in the trash today. I took it out of the trash after. Nice hats. Those new hats are nice. But, yeah, Bill, I love my Bills, but there's no way in hell we win this game. This is the survivor pick of the week, obviously. But it's funny because if you remember last year, the Monday Nighter, I know you got a great memory for this stuff. Remember last year, Dave, the Monday Nighter, this isn't a Monday Nighter, but there was a Monday Nighter last year, and they went on the road and they played the Seattle Seahawks. And I had Seattle in a survivor pool, and I fucking hate going against my Buffalo Bills. And the Bills nearly damn won that game on the road. I know it's a different matchup. But yeah, I don't see, even if the Falcons struggle, I don't see how they don't win this football game by double digits.
Now, Atlanta showed us a lot against Detroit yesterday. They were -3 in turnovers, gave up a pick-6 touchdown, won the game anyway. That happens so very, very rarely. One of the numbers that we'll be running in point blank, and I actually got this from Warren Sharp. Since 2011, teams that were +3 in turnovers and got a touchdown off one of the turnovers, they were 124-3. Detroit couldn't finish that deal. They were very close at the end of the game, but if you get a +3 turnover advantage and a pick-6 and you still don't win the game, it's either a bad sign for the loser or a good sign for the Falcons.
I have somebody in the chat saying I pick on Buffalo every week. It's not true. I had Buffalo against Carolina last week. I didn't like them against Denver, but I had them against Carolina last week. They are 3-0 against the spread, the Buffalo Bills. All right. I think it's a tough spot for them here. But, the Falcons could be a little bit disinterested. Julio Jones probable. It's a 1 o'clock start. New York Giants. Giants right now, Dave. They're 0-3. They go into Tampa. And I've been bringing this up about Tampa. You look at Mariota and you look at Winston. They came into the league together. Mariota, big win for him yesterday. But, you look at Tampa. Last year, I sort of bought into Tampa. They were going to take that next step. This year, a lot of people bought in once again that they were going to take that next step. O.J. Howard, the draft pick, Deshaun Jackson, Jameis Winston's third year. I'm not a big Dirk Cutter guy. I think Dirk Cutter's a good coordinator. Maybe he built Boise. I get it. But I don't know if Dirk Cutter's a good NFL coach. I don't think he's going to lead the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to the Super Bowl. I'll put it that way. And then Jameis Winston, and I said this the other day, if you watch Jameis Winston play right now, Dave, and you look at tape of him now, and then you took tape of him as a rookie, I don't really know if you'll be able to tell the difference. He came into the league, and he was pretty good. He was like ahead of the curve, above other people at that stage. Yet here we are into a third year, and I don't see a lot of progression with him, to be honest with you.
He's another guy that's being undercoached. But now let's talk about yet one more quarterback that doesn't have a run threat to set up play action. No running game at all against the Vikings. If you fake a handoff to Jaquiz Rodgers, you're not buying yourself any time until they get Doug Martin back. And we don't even know necessarily that Martin is going to be all that. You have to have that fit. So here's two teams that both bring the same issue. Nobody respects the Giants' play action. The Vikings did not respect Tampa's play action at all yesterday. The question for the Giants becomes a mental one this week. They sort of took the field of Philadelphia as though that was the all-in. We're 0-2. We have to win this game or our season might get away from us. Can the Giants mentally, can they do the things they've got to do at practice during the week?
He caught it. They're giving him a touchdown. Big play. Obviously, there's going to be a review. There's Jerry Jones.
We're going to sit and watch this review for a while. Yeah.
For the record, Jerry Jones took a knee before the game tonight. I didn't know. I just see right now. I just saw the story pop up. Did you see that, Dave? I didn't see that before.
He did it collectively with the team, but it wasn't during the anthem. It was before. It's sort of what you do when you have a lot of PR guys on staff.
Wow, that's pretty smart. They made their money tonight, eh? So he's unified with the team, but he's not going to get ripped by Fox and Friends in the morning.
That's what you do when you can spend that type of money to spin it just the right way. That's a pretty savvy move because nobody is going to be able to find fault. He's going to say, look, our focus was to win the football game, but I want to have solidarity with my players. Most of the owners, I don't think, have their own PR guys. Jerry Jones probably has a half a dozen.
That's great. A big play by Dak Prescott. Well, we thought maybe this game could open up right now, and it has. 21-14, 11 minutes and 52 seconds remaining. Big play for Dak Prescott. I'm a big Dak Prescott fan. I loved the kid at college. You know, what was it when he lost his father? He played the next week. Tough kid. I like his story. He's a class act, Dak. All right, so Buffalo and Atlanta is a tough one, I think, for Buffalo. But you can't underestimate the Bills. The Bills really are balling. Their defense really is good. So the Giants in Tampa, you brought it up, no running game. Their offenses are very similar, actually, Dave. You know, if they get inside the 5-yard line, they both can't really punch it in. They both have a hard time, getting in rhythm right now offensively. I guess we've cut Tampa a little bit of slack. They've only played 2 games so far this year. What do you make of this one? And can the Giants salvage things? Things are getting pretty ugly in New York right now. They're going to want McAdoo out. You call this – you and I were on last Monday, and you said, how long till Spagnuolo takes over this team? Probably next year. Where's this thing going right now? And the Bucs are laying 3.5.
Yeah, because this is a big week mentally for the Giants. You have to be able to stay in the game and keep your focus. Do we trust McAdoo as the guy who can accomplish that? I'm going to say no. I'm not going to believe that the Giants necessarily buy in. Again, yesterday's game against Philadelphia was so hard to read because that offense was absolutely dead in the water for 3 quarters against a team that was shorthanded in the secondary. Finally, in the 4th quarter, when the Giants just literally emptied the playbook, they caught a rhythm. You can catch a rhythm against a team that's shorthanded in the secondary, like Philly was. So I don't know how much credit to give the Giants for that. Again, this is a game where if the price was a little bit lower, I could see Tampa. I think they've got it priced the right way.
I'm looking at Odell Beckham here. So what's the I got lost in this yesterday a little bit because of all the protests and my bets and everything. But so Odell Beckham scored. He scored and he urinated like a dog. Was that his deal, Dave? He lifted his leg like a dog.
Yeah, it was actually kind of disappointing, and that you would like for Beckham, if he's going to get fined, be better than that. Come on,
lame, exactly.
Yeah, of all the things that you can do, and he's got PR people. They're trying to get him endorsement deals.
Like T.O. at least was cute, right? He had the Sharpie in his sock.
Because you can get an endorsement from Sharpie. Yes.
Yeah, you had the pom-poms with the cheerleaders. At least, he put some fun and some effort into it. Yeah, it's just distasteful. Even me, I'm like, really, dude? Like, come on, man. And the thing is, your team's 0-3. He's just a clown, this kid. He really is.
What makes you think that's good? Like sometime last Wednesday, he says, you know what I'm going to do? If I score a touchdown, I'm going to pretend like I'm a dog and I'm going to take – no, like come on, you got to be – and he lives in New York now. He's got to have better people around him than that. So it was just so disappointing. He did play better, and he's going to be healthier by the week. So that's a big part of their passing game. And, of course, Shepard was not having – and even Marshall played better yesterday. If Marshall has that oomph, that 3 wide receiver set, Beckham, Shepard, and Marshall, that's one of the best out there. So there are things that they're capable of. They just don't run the ball or block very well, and that puts limits on it.
All right, we've got the what do you make of this one with Tampa and New York? Any early lean or anything like that, or is this a stay away game?
The handicap's to Tampa, but it's priced out. So
yeah. All right, so we got Chargers. What's the deal? The Chargers, they play. Do they play in LA every week, Dave? Is that the deal? Does this fucking team never travel? For fuck's sake, here they are again, 3 weeks in a row at home.
It was so embarrassing for them Sunday because Kansas City fans did outnumber Charger fans.
Yeah,
still a lot of empty seats. I'm surprised by this price. At this point, I believe Philadelphia is supposed to be favored because there just is no home field advantage at all. Chargers are still doing a lot of little things right, but yesterday, the one guy that they wanted to be able to rely on, Phillip Rivers, he gives the ball away 3 times. They don't have they can overcome mistakes by other players if Rivers steps up. If Rivers has a bad game, they can't make up for it anywhere. There's nowhere they can go to make up for Rivers' mistakes.
He looks old to me, Dave. The ball's just slow getting to the wide receivers. And he's always had that awkward delivery. And I don't really care about mechanics and how the ball gets there as long as the ball gets there. But the ball's not getting there with the same velocity anymore. He's not mobile in the pocket. I'm not saying I want to run him out of town or anything like that. But, I think the beginning of the end I think the writing's on the wall for Phillip Rivers right now.
Yeah, now here's something to watch closely, too. Now, we talked about the Rams upgrading in coaching. We talked about Buffalo upgrading in coaching. Chargers might have downgraded.
Yeah.
I actually like Mike McCoy. I think McCoy just, again, he had caught where all 4 of his seasons, San Diego was in the bottom 5 of the NFL in player games lost to injury. That's what sort of kept things from ever happening under him. They may actually have taken a step backwards in coaching for this season. So here's the issue if you're the Chargers. Do you stay interested? As you get out there to 0-3, what makes you want to keep prepping hard and competing hard? There's not a fan base.
No fan base, no media to rip you, no nothing. You're right.
Now, let's talk about Phillip Rivers as his season unfolds. Now, we did this with Teddy and Paulie on Sportsbook a couple of weeks ago. We showed the ride that Phillip Rivers takes to practice every day. Phillip Rivers, he's got like a 90-minute commute because he didn't want to move his family.
Yeah, I've been talking about that too, if he's lucky. You and I think the same. You have that. And then also with Anthony Lynn, I brought this up. Anthony Lynn started last year as a running backs coach with the Buffalo Bills. That's a long way to go on the depth chart from the running back coach of the Buffalo Bills to the head coach of the Chargers. And he was the running back coach of the Bills. Greg Roman got fired because he was talking shit behind Rex Ryan's back. And Rex fired him. Rex gets fired. Lynn's the guy left standing. He's the guy left standing. Pagula's like, all right, you coach the last game of the year. And then suddenly he became a hot coaching commodity for some reason, Dave, and he got the Charger job. I've been warning people about this all in the offseason. I said, I don't know, good guy. I don't know if this guy's ready to be a head coach in a National Football League. I brought up the commute stuff, too. I don't know why he doesn't fucking charter a helicopter. He can afford it. Or even buy his own helicopter.
What he did, though, the reason we put it on Sportsbook.
Another big bomb. Both these teams do nothing, and then they both hit these monster bombs. Wow, big play for J.J. Nelson, 21-14. They're trying to run a play to get it off. If so, make sure it was in a catch. Was it a catch? I mean, if Carson Palmer's freaking out to get it in, there's one. It looks like a catch, but I don't know. There's one.
Boy, he gets most of the second foot, but not all of it.
I think he's out of bounds, Dave.
Yeah. It's going to be rolled out of bounds. Now, Rivers actually did the next best thing to a helicopter. He has a nice ride. What they did is they converted a large SUV. So he's got sort of like this den in the back. He's got a nice leather lazy boy chair. They've got all this video equipment. So he said he's got a chance to watch films, and he thought that it would be an effective way. No, they're going to call the playback. He thought it would be an effective way to actually look at more film than he would have otherwise.
Yeah.
At a certain point, that's got to be a drag. If you're making that commute several days a week, that becomes a drag. Because, again, when you're 0-3, or if you get to 0-4, if there's not a lot of purpose, and again, if there's not a crowd behind you, and that does matter to these guys, is that's what keeps you on your toes. At this point, it's almost like they're orphans. And it's going to sound awkward to bring it up, but I have a close friend who lives in BC who works in social sciences in this arena. And one of the things she specifically works on are children who don't have parents. And there is that big difference between responsibilities when you know somebody's watching all the time and when they're not. Well, when you have fans, you know you've got to bring it on Sunday. Chargers don't have that. They're essentially orphans at this point. There's no one overseeing what they're doing. This season has a chance to really implode for them.
There's already talk that they were going to try to get him to go back to San Diego. Was it the league? They forced this LA thing. I think San Diego is a good football market. They don't want to pay for the stadium. It is what it is. But if you're going to move, at least move to somewhere where you know it's going to work. And I always thought San Antonio. I mean, the Saints were going to move there before. Texas is one place that could absorb another football team. You can't say the same about Los Angeles and California. I don't think Eagle fan travels as much, but the Eagles are kind of a popular team. There'll be Eagle fans in LA that'll end up going to the game. Chargers -1. You just figure, I mean, fuck, Dave. Are you talking, you think there's a 3-13 type of implosion for these guys?
It has a chance to. Jason Verrett was another guy they couldn't afford to lose. Perryman and Verrett are two guys they don't have the ability to replace on that defense. So it's going to be awfully, awfully difficult. The last thing the Chargers needed was to lose some more players on defense. It's going to be very difficult for them.
You believe this, Dave? 3rd and 18. Look at this. Did he catch this, or is they going to review this? Yeah, I don't know if he caught that, man. ESPN, you guys don't even show fucking replays.
Larry Fitzgerald finds the football.
I think he caught it. I thought it hit the ground, but I think it hit the Cowboys' foot. Yeah, it hit the Cowboys.
That's a catch. That is a catch. A catch not many guys can make, but again, it's Fitzgerald's experience.
That's a catch.
Yeah, knowing how to adjust his body in the air.
Fucking Scandrick. Make a fucking play, Scandrick. For fuck's sakes, man. Ball loose. Stop trying. What is he trying to catch it for? Knock the ball. Punch the ball. You give up a first down on 3rd and 18. Here's Scandrick bitching. It's a catch, Scandrick. What are you bitching about? What's he crying about, Dave?
I have no idea what he would be complaining about, except for his own inability to knock the ball down on that play.
He tried to catch it, and Fitzgerald just took it from him. Like, fuck. But, okay, I don't know. I don't know if I can trust the Eagles in this spot. But that's the line right now. The Chargers are -1. The total is 47.5. San Francisco and Arizona. Arizona are obviously playing as we speak. I'm seeing some 6.5s out here. I thought that San Francisco would be a little bit better than they have been, but they did show some life in the second half last Thursday. They're getting 6.5 right now. Hard to trust this Cardinal team laying points. And I know over the past year, San Francisco actually have played Arizona tough on the road here.
Yeah, the difficulty with San Francisco, there's no pressure whatsoever on Kyle Shanahan to win a game this year. He's got to be. They're going to let him bring in the players he wants to bring in. He already knows Hoyer's not the answer long-term at quarterback. So it's difficult creating. San Francisco this year is a lot like Cleveland was last year. There was no pressure on Cleveland or Hugh Jackson to win at all last year. I'm going to be real careful. With San Francisco, I want to be getting bigger numbers than what's offered out there right now. Arizona might be a decent fit into a teaser.
Oakland and Denver, big time rivalry. Both of them coming off of losses. I'd say one of them more embarrassing than the other. What a pathetic performance from the Raiders last night. The lack of creativity on offense, the lack of effort, the lack of urgency. I get it. It's going to happen. I don't know. I don't see how it can happen this early in the season on prime time Sunday night football like that. But they get an opportunity to get it back right now. They have to go to Denver. I see some 2.5s out there. I see a couple of 3s as well. What do you make of this line, Dave? Total 47.
I'm still so confused from Oakland, Washington that I've gone through that game so many different times. A lot of times we can make just about any result fit something that makes sense by digging and digging and digging. I can't make that one fit. Oakland was just so bad in so many different ways.
There wasn't one facet of the Raiders that was good, Dave. The offensive line, the defensive line, the secondary, the quarterback, the coaching. There was nothing good about it. Nothing. They made Chris Thompson look like fucking Barry Sanders.
That's it. That's why it's so difficult to incorporate into some sort of a thought process. And that if one aspect breaks down, you can say, okay, was it tactical against this particular opponent? That was a complete breakdown. You said every part of their game. What's also really disappointing, the Oakland defensive talent, if you use their draft round or their pedigree says that they should be better than they are. They were terrible last year. They were god-awful last night. And that's after they thought they were getting a little bit better. They said they liked their zone schemes a little bit more. They thought that by playing zone, they could give Khalil Mack about a half second more in the pass rush. They just got picked apart last night. The one thing that we didn't see last year, Oakland won a lot of close games because they kept contact all the time. They never really got knocked down. This is one of the first times in a long time Oakland got knocked down. They didn't get up. So maybe there's a little bit of a fragile psyche that's still a part of that team. They did not respond well to taking a punch.
Well, that's very similar to the Dallas Cowboys, isn't it? The Dallas Cowboys never really got punched in the mouth last year. They lost the home opener, the season opener, Dak Prescott's first game to the Giants, 2019. Then they pretty much ran the table. The late games that they lost were in the regular season in which they didn't mean anything to them. They had already clinched stuff. They weren't real losses. The playoff game they lost was sort of a learning experience for them. So last week in Denver was the first time that Dallas had been punched in the mouth. They haven't responded greatly this evening. I mean, they're battling here right now. And I find that the Raiders are in a similar situation. They've been a big honeymoon last year, and it continued into this year for the Raiders. But they got absolutely punched in the mouth. And Denver's a tough place to play, Dave. That Denver Bronco defense, I don't know if they're all the way back, but they're pretty much back. Yeah, they didn't win yesterday. It's amazing how teams will lose one game on the road and it'll change your perception completely. But to me, right now, if this game's in 5 minutes and I'm betting this game, I'm taking the Denver Broncos -2.5.
Yeah, that's right. We'll trust their mentality to play with pride, play with poise. Let's see. And that's going to be the storyline I'm going to follow over the course of the week. Where is the poise of Oakland? Because, again, if you're always close in your games, poise doesn't become an issue. Let's see if that happens now. This is still a real young team. This is still a head coach who hasn't been around all that long in his position. This will be a good way. I don't know if I will bet on whether the poise is there or not, but that may be the storyline to follow this week. How calm, how collected will Oakland be when they take the field? Because when you're not used to getting hit, sometimes you slip into a panic mode a little bit too quickly. This is a week to test the Raider maturity.
Sunday Night Football is normally a marquee matchup, Dave, but we have the Colts and the Seahawks next Sunday. Ooh. Total is 41 in this football game. Far from glamorous, Dave.
Well, they can't flex this early in the year, so they're stuck with it. Obviously, they thought it was going to be luck, and Indy is a possible playoff contender. Although, again, Indy is still a playoff contender.
They are a playoff contender, Dave.
In their division, they've got a pretty soft schedule. This is one of the toughest games they've got the rest of the year. It's so hard for Seattle to be out there laying 13 because the offense just doesn't have that ability. One is to build a lead with the ground game. Two is if you get a lead, you're not able to protect it, by running the ball. So until that develops, and I'm not sure that it can. Again, the offensive line Seattle is putting out there for week 4, those are the guys they have.
They're going to have a mobile quarterback like Brissett. You're getting 13 points. It doesn't take much, Dave. A scramble here, a field goal there, a touchdown there, and you're covering the number. What has Seattle shown us that they can pull away and even score 13 fucking points?
Well, here's the issue Seattle has, and this is something good to follow along with this team. They're at their best when they go hurry up. It's a great offense for Russell Wilson. Yeah. It takes pressure off of the offensive line. They've scored over 70% of their points this year in drives with the hurry-up offense. So they asked Pete Carroll, they said, well, if this is working, why don't you do it more often? He said, we can't because it wears our defense out. Our defense has to be on the field too much. What happened to Tennessee yesterday? They gave up 165 rushing yards in the second half. And that's not just the big burst by Murray. There were 90 rushing yards in addition to that. The defense got gassed. So you might see Seattle play fast tempo early in a game like this, then hit the brakes if they have the lead. That's something we're going to watch pretty closely. We might see the total get screwed up a little bit here. This could be a first half over, Seattle playing with pace, and then a game flow that slows significantly down afterwards.
Big drop by Arizona there. Golden. Nothing golden about that. Big drop. Palmer had the ball there. He's got to catch it. I don't know what he's bitching about to the ref. He wasn't. I don't know. What are you bitching about the ref, kid? You love these guys, Dave. After every play, they bitch. It's like, you weren't touched. I don't know. Like, what are you crying about? I don't know if they think, well, everyone in the stands will think I got fucked somehow if I just point my fingers and up for the field goal. Up to 38 right now. 6 minutes and 35 seconds remaining. 21-17 in this football game. And we're one field goal away from teaser land. I don't know if we'll be able to get it. Dallas could probably just going to be trying to chew the clock up here, thinking that Arizona won't score a touchdown. And finally, closing, Dave, Monday nighter with two teams feeling pretty good about themselves. Man, this Kareem Hunt this kid's unbelievable, Dave. What do you make of Kareem Hunt? You've been around a while. To watch, he's dynamic. It's funny, in an era in which they said running backs are dead. I guess not. Not in Kansas City, they're not. Kareem Hunt's just carrying this team right now in his playmaking, the big difference maker. And you get the Washington Redskins going in there. This is the first time I'm looking at this number, actually. I knew some of the other numbers, but I didn't know this one. I'm a little bit surprised to see it at an even 7, Dave. A little bit high.
There's some 6.5 showing. Penny's down to 6.5 now. I think that's going to be the settle out. We're going to write about Kansas City in the Tuesday Point Blank, and we've written about the same issue a lot. Time and time again, people keep saying, guys, Kansas City's lucky. They're overrated. They're 3-0, and guess what? They've been outgained again by their opponents. That's what happens in the Andy Reid style. His first 4 seasons at Kansas City, the opposing teams had 255 more plays than the Chiefs did. Well, when that happens, yeah, the other team is going to gain more yards. So far this year, the Kansas City opponents have had 44 more plays than the Chiefs had. That's substantial. If you break it down to yards per play, and that's where you've got to go, when you look at yards per play and look at the quality of competition, Kansas City's been the best team in the NFL. They've gained 7.1. They've allowed 5.2. That's a 1.9 against pretty good competition. A home game against Philadelphia is good competition. A road game against New England, in theory, is as tough as it gets. The Chargers on a neutral, they took care of business in that game. What we like about Hunt is right off the bat, the minute he showed up at camp, the Chiefs are going, wow, look what we got. Because they didn't know. They really didn't know when they drafted him how much talent he brought to the table. The difficulty you have in the Mid-American Conference is he ran wild because you're used to seeing good runners do that. It's a league that has small, slow defensive players. The Chiefs were thrilled right off the bat, which means Andy Reid has been dialing up ways to tweak the offense. And what the Chiefs have is some of the most sophisticated blocking schemes for running plays of anybody out there. You tend to think about passing as being high-tech. Kansas City has running high-tech. They've got some blocking schemes where they can snap these things. They didn't have the runner in the past. They could take advantage. Jamal Charles, these other guys, a little bit too slow to hit the hole. This looks real right now. Kansas City has been the best team, but again, here's my Washington problem. If I don't understand Oakland from last night, that means I don't understand the Redskins either.
But they don't understand the Redskins. And they don't, imagine trying to figure out Kirk Cousins. But it's been 3 years, 4 years of them trying to figure this out. 1 week, you're like, there's no way in hell we can give this guy $22 million. Like, we're not giving this guy. And then he goes out and he's fucking 22 or 24, Dave. And you're like, damn, man, Kirk Cousins looks like an elite quarterback. They really are an enigma, aren't they?
They are. So there have been few games this season that have confounded me more than that.
Unbelievable. I don't think he's touched. Touchdown. You figure they're going to run it and milk it? What a play call. Way to go.
An inexcusable play by the Arizona defender, too, to not make sure he was down. You have to secure that.
Yeah, that's Matthew.
That's Matthew. Yeah. And now it's close. See. He touched him as he was getting back up, but I think his knee may have already been off the ground.
No. He might have. No, not yet.
It's so close.
Fuck, I think he touched him. What a dick, even the way he touched him, though.
It's like, very, very close.
Like, I guess I'll touch you since it's my job. Like, really? I guess since it's my job. Every fucking play's got to be a replay, in this league. I got Dallas, though. We got Dallas in the super contest. So, look, he grabs his jersey right there. All right. So, yeah, okay, so Dave, so the Chiefs got it done as big underdogs in week 1. Week 2, short favorites. What was it, 5 against the Eagles? They get it done. Short, neutral. We're not even calling a road game anymore. Short, neutral field win against the Chargers. I can't wait to see Lawrence's database on this with Andy Reid as a 7-point favorite. Now, you're saying it's 6.5 at Penny. We'll see if it goes down or up and what happens at the more public spots throughout the week goes on. But is this a spot you want to be laying points with Andy Reid in? Like you said, it's so tough with Washington too, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sitting here 24 hours after the game, and usually by now I've got the games graded. And I keep going back through that one because almost no component inside of that game fits the profiles unless it's just Oakland having a glass jaw. And that once they got down, everything snowballs off of that. I don't expect to see that out of the Redskins a weekend. The issue I thought Washington had, lack of chemistry between Cousins and the receivers. You take Jackson and Garcon away, still trying to get things figured out with Pryor and the others. I thought that was going to be an issue. Where does that rear its head when you're a road dog and you fall behind and you have to make plays? And Kansas City and that crowd in the second half, especially an undefeated Kansas City team, this will be one of the better crowds of the early NFL season. If Kirk Cousins has to make plays in the second half, we may find out that chemistry still isn't there in their passing game.
Dave Malinsky, the author of Vegas Point Blank, with us every Monday. Here he's actually going to be with me in the morning / afternoon on the Fantasy Sports Television Network. So we'll save some stuff. For Dave a little bit later on in the week. Look at the college. You mentioned USC, Washington State has a chance to be a real fun football game. You and I were talking about college versus NFL. USC, Washington State is on Friday. And Carmelo Anthony now in OKC, Dave. I see the Oklahoma City Thunder 18-1. They're the 6th choice to win the NBA title. I don't know. I said earlier, I don't know if are they aware there's only one basketball. It's not like the Harlem Globetrotters, right? You're not allowed multiple basketballs on the court, but NBA's around the corner too, Dave. It's an exciting time of the year, man. We're going to have a new sport jumping into portfolio soon.
We sort of know what time of year it is. Here's the gold sheet writing about hockey this week.
So why? Because Vegas, right? You guys, I was going to ask you. You got your season tickets for the Golden Knights?
A good friend of mine has them.
Touchdown, Elliott, Cowboys.
Yeah, a good friend of mine has. The problem is finding a window to go. I'm not going to be able to get out to a game the Tuesday of Thanksgiving week. I think they're playing Dallas. That's the first time I'm going to be able to get away to go. Part of the issue, it's the hassle of getting in and out. They built an arena without adding parking. So here's an arena that's about 4 miles from my house. It could take me an hour and a half to go those 4 miles.
There's no underground parking lot or anything like that there? I never thought of that. It's true. There's nothing around. There's no parking there. You're right.
They added nothing. They said, you can park.
You park at the MGM, I guess. That's what they want. That's their thing. You park at the MGM and you have to walk through the fucking casino to get to your car.
Yeah, guess what? You got a half-hour walk.
That's why they did that. They did that on purpose.
There aren't many women in heels who are going to walk from the MGM. What I'm working on now, and I said, and here's the one thing they may have been proactive on. Apparently, there's going to be a good Uber pickup point after the games. So if that's the case, and you don't have to wait in a cab line forever, if there's a good Uber pickup point and you can get out of there, then I may go a fair amount.
You know what, Dave? I might come down actually for New Year's. The Toronto Maple Leafs are playing. And, Vegas New Year's is fun anyways. You're going to have NFL football playing on that day or New Year's Eve day. And, college football, Toronto Maple Leafs in Vegas. And a lot of Torontonians go to Vegas as a whole, Dave. There's like 18 fucking flights a day, if not more, all right? And
I'm amazed, Gabe, that they're still doing that with the exchange rate, too. So we thought that was going to start to fall off.
Expensive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's getting real tough. We appreciate that. Now, of course, I love
Vegas is a little greedy. They are a little greedy, Dave, and I think it's going to catch up. Like a good example is, I used to be able to come down to Vegas for like $400, $450, hotel and flight included. Now that's $900 for the same thing. I have a buddy in LA, and we were casually talking about the Chargers. And he said, I have a buddy in Denver that said, it's really expensive to go to a Bronco game in Denver. He goes, maybe we should meet up in LA. And so I was like, all right, if I can get a cheap flight to LA, I'll check it out. It was $299 to LA. It's the same distance. So you figure Vegas would be encouraging people to come, but instead they're like, well, if you're coming here, you must really want to come here and you must be desperate to come here, so we're going to overcharge you. And I think eventually they're going to overprice. Plus, you have this new fucking tax with the Raider Stadium and stuff, Dave. Like I said, it's near. I don't come to Vegas as much as I used to because of the price, Dave. And I got to tell you, with the legalization of marijuana everywhere and potentially sports betting in other places, eventually Vegas is going to take a hit.
It's already taking the hit. When they do things like paid parking, that shows you that they've kind of run out of ideas at this point. But you see internationally the perception of Vegas. The Stardust property has sat there vacant for a long time. Now, the people who own that property, the Genting Group, out of Asia, they have the money. They don't have to go to the bank to build. They can go in and build whatever they want right now because they have the money. They can't drop anything they think would work. And that's been the issue.
What the hell is going on with that Carl Icahn building? what are they going to do, Dave? Like, I saw it the other day, and it really is just a disgrace at this point right now. The Fontainebleau, it's ridiculous. Like, the windows are falling off of it. It's a fucking eyesore, man. Like, do something with it. What are they going to do with this thing?
Well, here's what happened. An Icahn, a very good businessman, bought it cheaply. First thing he did, because he knew it was useless to try to finish it, he says, okay, here's what I'm going to do. Let me sell and literally they sold everything in there. So a couple of places, Whiskey Pete's out at the state line, the Plaza downtown, they went in, they bought all the furniture, all the TVs. They redid their properties off of Fontainebleau Furniture. Then they were working on, could you actually carefully implode it and reuse the materials? And he says, no, the problem is it would be so difficult to take it down layer by layer because nobody wants the materials. There's not that much construction going on.
What about how come the convention people, couldn't they use the space or something, Dave? I don't understand.
Well, they bought the they bought the Riviera instead. So the convention people own all the way out to Las Vegas Boulevard now. The Fontainebleau was sold a month ago. So the reason why no one bought it before is they wanted the land. They didn't want the building is built for like 3,000 rooms. Nobody wants that.
I would turn it into residential, Dave, personally.
The problem is that hasn't been working because you've got Turnberry right behind it. And if you look at the Turnberry numbers, residential isn't going to work. What people wanted is said, look, Carl, we will buy the land from you. Yeah. Would you please tear the building down first?
Smash the fucking thing down. Yeah.
Well, the problem is that's expensive. It costs almost $50 million.
I know Steve Wynn got mad because it's in his way. Right? He can see it from his window. I remember when I lived there, Steve Wynn was like, this fucking building pisses me off, man. Because he goes, my guests can see it. And he goes, they're looking up at board and shit. And he goes, I know, Carl. And I keep telling him, I remember when I was there, they were going to put like a, sort of art over it. And like, it's never ending. I don't want to talk about it all night, but it's never ending, that building, man.
No, the difficulty is the expense. That it costs $46 million to implode the Riviera. We tend to not think, just go ahead and knock it down. The Fontainebleau might have been a $50 million bit to implode, so that's why it's sitting there. We don't know what the new owners are going to do because I'm not sure they know what they're going to do yet. They know the property itself is worth something. The building structure just has no value. At some point, what they may do is cut a deal with the city. We will knock down the eyesore if you give us a tax break. You negotiate it out, try to find a little bit of leverage. But Icahn did sell it. I'm just not sure if anything's going to happen. The Genting Group originally was going to reopen, on the Stars property, like back in 2012. That was 5 years ago. There are no shovels in the ground over there. What they do is they do a dog and pony. About every 2 years, they'll get in front of the city and in front of the commissioners and say, okay, we're going to be ready in 2019, or we'll be ready in 2022. What they're going to do is they're going to wait and see perhaps what will happen with the Raiders. Will that lead to any type of economic activity? If it does, then they can come in. But for now, and of course, one that you probably remember, the Frontier. The Frontier has been an empty lot for 20 years now. It's been owned by several different groups. It was owned by a Middle Eastern group that didn't do anything. They sold it to Kerry Packer and his people in Australia. They kept promising they would do something with it. The Frontier is just going to sit there as an empty lot indefinitely into the future.
For eternity. It's amazing. So much has been built and moved forward in Vegas, but there's just certain properties and lots that are just stuck in time. It's fascinating.
Well, think about this. You own a prime spot right in the heart of the Las Vegas Strip. You own it. It's yours.
Yeah.
And you can't figure out anything you can build that'll make money.
I see. And so that's the lot, Dave. Remember, I lived at Allure, right?
Yes.
So right across the street, they have the empty lot there. I know Metallica, and they had a concert there, and that was successful. So that's where the Stardust was, essentially, right? Right there.
No, it was further. It was on the other side of Circus Circus.
Okay, on the other side of Circus Circus.
The lot you were looking at was another Las Vegas botch. One of the best rock and roll festivals in the world is Rock in Rio, which takes place in Rio. They do a dynamic job with it. Well, now there's a second version they're doing in Spain because the organizers knew how to do it. Vegas had the opportunity. That was a good spot to host. And you had Metallica. You had a lot of good people that played. But it was owned by the MGM people, and they ran it, and they completely botched the logistics. That if you wanted to go, you had to literally park at the MGM and take a shuttle bus all the way down.
You couldn't just walk in off the street. No, that's ridiculous.
Well, there was nowhere to park, so you couldn't park to walk in off the street. They had no parking anywhere, and of course, now MGM doesn't think about parking. We'll hold a great festival without parking. We'll host hockey games without parking. So that festival literally died after 1 year. That could have been a dynamic annual event that would have got a lot of people into Vegas. I could have walked to it from my house. I could have literally walked, which I would have to because I can't park any closer than my own driveway. That's the closest I could get. I was thinking in time, I probably could have rented my house out for $3,000 or $4,000 a night during that festival. Say, hey, you want to have a dozen people stay in the same house and walk to the? I could have had Metallica staying in my house.
Someday we'll get together, Dave. I'll tell you a story. I had Dave Grohl, the Foo Fighters in Nirvana, sleep in my house years ago. Before he was,
I would expect nothing less than that. I would expect nothing less. I would think there's probably a longer list. In fact.
Yeah, he's one of them. Yeah, he's one. He used to be in a band called Scream before he was in Nirvana. I was in a band called Corrupted Youth, and I knew nice guy. I wasn't good friends with him or anything like that, but they played. I knew one of the guys in the band pretty well. They needed a place to stay, and I slept in my house. And now he's a very, 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 very rich man, Dave.
Can we find any of your old videos on YouTube anywhere? Did any of the music survive?
Yeah, we got one actually. It's funny because we were sort of pre-internet era, but I'll send you after the show. I'll send you a link. You'll like it. I got hair. It's from like the mid-'90s from the Montreal Spectrum.
I mean, we run music in Point Blank Mondays and Fridays. Is this Point Blank worthy music?
I think it might be, actually. Yeah, I think it might be. Yeah, it's black and white video. It's not the best sound, but it's not bad, Dave. I'll send it to you after the show here tonight. You'll get a kick out of it.
I'm just realizing now, for all the years we've done this, I don't have a single photo of you with hair. Not one.
Yeah.
No one.
Yeah, I know people don't even believe it's true. They can't even imagine me like this. Except people in the yesteryear. I have like a lot of secret lives over the years. So I have people that, they don't even recognize me now. And I have other people that can't even imagine me with hair.
I'm looking forward to seeing this. Any chance that you play in the future Or is that a part of your life that doesn't exist
Yeah,
anymore?
no, you know what, Dave? We've actually, it's crazy. I guess it's a midlife crisis thing, but I didn't really have time or it's a deep emotional type thing. It's a personal thing. But just one day I said, you know what, fuck this. My father passed away and he left me his guitar, and I was sitting in a case, and I said, I'm not doing him any good. He left me this guitar to play it. So I started playing it a little bit. And next thing you know, I contacted our old band. We're actually in talks right now. We did a rehearsal a few weeks ago in Montreal, and we're going to record a new record in February, right after the Super Bowl, because I'm so damn busy with this football stuff, and I'm on 7 days a week. But basically the day after the fucking Super Bowl, we're going to head into a studio for about a week and a half. Metalwork Studio in Toronto, Dave. It's actually owned by Rick Emmett from Triumph.
Wow.
Major studio. Like, the Rolling Stones and fucking U2 have recorded there. It's a little too mainstream for us, actually. We're wondering we might go to a more punk, dirty place. Might be better for us. But we're in the works. I'll send you this. I'll send you the links after. You'll be impressed. You'll get a kick out of it.
I'm looking at now. Do you write or do you just play?
Yeah, no, we write. Hold on, Dave. I got the. It's too bad I don't have the electric. I don't have the electric plugged in. We could have went right into. It. We got the acoustic out here though, but. Play serious stuff, Dave, but what we're doing is more metal. You think I'm dead, but I'm not. So I'm versatile, Dave. We play pop, rock, metal, whatever you want.
No, probably nobody expected this when they tuned in tonight.
No, I know. You know what? We busted out the guitar the other night, actually, the electric. Okay. I actually have an amp right beside me, Dave. It wouldn't take me that long to plug it in, but I've kept you on long enough. How about next week? We'll serenade you. We'll get the guitar out for you next week.
I'm looking forward.
The amp out.
Let's do that. I'm looking forward to it.
Because you're a guest that's interested in music. Some of our guys, they don't give a fuck, right? The other night it was funny. We were all having bad beats, and somebody asked me, Morency, what do you do, to get away from sports and everything? And I said, I like to play guitar. And, I just start shredding, and it takes my mind off of things. So I did it during the game, actually. I just sat here shredding for about half an hour. Most people don't give a shit. But you're into music and stuff, Dave, so I look forward to it. I'll bust out the electric next week.
That will be a real highlight.
Yeah, I appreciate that. What's the highlight of the week for us, Dave, getting your insight here? We're honored, special treat to get the insight from one of the legends of the game. And it's funny, a little bit of line movement since we've been talking, Dave. Buffalo Bills down to 7.5 right now. Somebody likes the Bills.
It's one odd thing about this marketplace. It's such a global that people say, why is somebody betting late at night? Say, no, somebody in Asia just got out of bed.
You're right. Yeah. Who knows where that bet came from? It could be a fucking guy in Austria, could be a guy in Hong Kong, could be a guy in fucking Atlanta right now. Who knows?
That's it. You got guys just getting out of bed. It's their Tuesday morning. It's the first time they've had a chance to bet into the NFL line. It has become that type of marketplace. We talk about this with Scott Kaminsky all the time. It's so hard for them at the beginning of each season to figure out who's sharp and who isn't, because the bets come in from all around the globe these days. A couple of years ago, there was a group that was running real hot in baseball. So what happens is, of course, the stores want to figure out which one of our customers is getting those plays first, who's moving it first, so that we know who to adjust off of. So they spent a whole week going through all the records, looking at everybody's action. Guy was betting out of Warsaw, Poland. He was the first guy to hit the steam. Now, obviously, he was not in Warsaw. It was being redirected somehow.
Yeah.
But there was the appearance that there was an account in Warsaw that was the first guy to the baseball steam. That's what they have to deal with.
Dave, when we at the IFBC, it was real cool. There were a lot of bettors from all over the world. That was one of the coolest things about the conference. I was wondering who the hell's going to be there, but there was, just gamblers from all over the world. And, there was a guy from Austria who said, he bets on, American sports and everything. And there was a guy from the Philippines, You know, a guy from the Philippines. He's a fan of mine. He was telling me, I know you bet on Filipino basketball. Don't do it. It's fixed. But, there's a guy in the Philippines betting on NBA basketball. And it's funny because I see we got Big Man on Campus, who's a class act in the chat right now. And Big Man on Campus yesterday said, we were talking about the London game. And he goes, what the fuck do people in London and England know about the NFL? Why the fuck they even play there? And I said to him, well, you're an English Premier League fan. So you don't think they're saying in England, what the fuck does some guy in Philadelphia know about the EPL? I don't think like that. I think that there's a guy right now in Portugal that knows as much about the NFL as you or I do, Dave, right? There's people that know soccer around the fucking world. It's a global world we're in right now. It's a global market.
Yeah, they don't know football or soccer. They know markets and odds. And we've got some good contributors to Point Blank.
Exactly. I know a South Korean dude, Dave. He's a young guy. He even admits it. He goes, I couldn't tell you one player on the New England fucking Patriots besides Tom Brady, Josh Donaldson, and Batista. He knows the star players, but he doesn't hide it. He doesn't try to be an expert. He's also a blackjack player, a South Korean guy, Asian gambler, hustler guy. The guy fucking kills it. And I ask him, he goes, I won 6-3 in college football yesterday. I go, yeah, how do you know? I said, you don't even know, man, like anything about this. He goes, I look at the numbers. I stare at Pinnacle, and I compare Pinnacle's odds to other markets, and I can tell by the steam and the movement. It's amazing, Dave. He's a smart fucking kid, and he doesn't need to know who plays for the team. He understands the market.
Right, because remember, in a lot of those locations, steam hits penny. These guys might have 60 to 90 seconds of a free reign to do something with it. We don't have that much here. Everyone in Nevada is sitting on the screen. But if you've got some shops in Australia, if you've got some places in Great Britain where, the NFL is priority number 12, college football is priority number 37, penny gets steamed on a college football game, these shop owners aren't going to react to that quickly. So, no, these guys don't need to know the sport. You just need to know the numbers. And that's the thing. We don't talk about it a lot on shows like this because it's not what people want to hear. They want to hear about coaches. They want to hear about players. It's a numbers game. You take advantage of positioning. Do I have New Orleans minus 2.5 in my pocket already for Sunday? Yes, I do, because of the value of what that 2.5 is. It's not, well, Drew Brees can pick apart this secondary. They can get a rush on Cutler. No, it's what the 2.5 is worth. You're going to find, and especially probably for the most successful sports bettors, they've known more about numbers than about sports. Yeah, and it's the ability to shop the market. What Billy Walters and the computer group did through all the years, there's always this mystery. Who were they on? Well, no, it's not who they were on. It's at what price did they bet. So it's like, hey, they're on A&M.
Yeah, they're not on A&M because of the quarterback matchup or because of some X and O technical football angle that Billy saw, right? He's on it because of the fucking number.
Yeah, I'm on A&M minus 4. So if you say, they're on A&M, we'll lay 5.5. These guys are good. They like A&M. Well, they're not on A&M at 5.5. You're not making this. Some people said, well, how come we can't follow the computer group and win? Because you couldn't get down at their numbers. If they lay 4 and you lay 5.5, it doesn't take too long for you to find out, he's got a private plane. Actually, he doesn't have a private plane anymore. That's probably going to be sold in auction.
Yeah, actually, it doesn't have. Actually, what's up with that? Does he have like a certain amount of time to check himself in or something? How's that work?
He will be incarcerated before the end of the year. It's a 5-year sentence. They hit him in the pocket again, though. Originally, there was a $10 million fine. They came in and hit him in the pocket for an additional amount that he's got to pay. Maybe he does 3 of the 5 years eventually. We don't like to see anyone his age do that kind of time because it doesn't help society in any way.
He's got powerful friends, though, to kick this down the road a little bit, kick the can, right?
Here's the problem, though. For the particular issue they got him on, and I can understand both sides of this, this is the hardest thing for the feds to prosecute because insider trading, these are the sharpest of the sharp. So what they have to do is they have to set an example. When they get a chance, Billy becomes the poster. Like, okay, we got him. We can also get you. So
you're right. If we'll do this to him, who's hanging out with fucking big time politicians, we'll get you too.
Yeah, it's preemptive. There are guys who do this stuff daily that are never going to get caught because they're just a little bit too smart. They understand the technicalities. You got a lot of guys on Wall Street who helped to write the technicalities, so they know exactly what they are. So when it was their chance to get a scalp, they decided to get one more for preemptive, and there goes the total ends. Interesting strategy there. If you're Arians, do you kick the field goal to try to make it one possession and gamble on the onside kick?
I didn't really realize this. I thought that was third down. You're motherfucking telling me they went for it on fourth down instead of kicking the field goal?
They did. I think if you could cut it to 7, you kick the field goal. When you cut it to 8, you still got to make the 2-point conversion anyway. But also, it was inside the 5. That's an opportunity play that you'd like to be able to make.
To me, you kick the field goal. I can't believe we just got fucked on the fucking total. To me, you kick the field goal there, and you go for the onside kick, and you hope for the Hail Mary. I don't agree with that play call at all.
Yeah, this is going to be a bad result for the house. It was mostly Dallas money as the day flowed. And for a rarity, for a television standalone, more under money than ever. In fact, I see the Westgate right across the street. They closed at 46 after a 47.5 opener. That's rare that they see that kind of play. So this is not going to be a good result for the house. But the house has had such a great week. A couple of the guys saying it's the best NFL Sunday result in memory for them. So they don't mind giving a little bit back tonight.
Well, Dave, you said when you joined us, you wouldn't be surprised if Dallas pulled away and ended up winning by 10 to 14 points. They won by 10 to 14 points. They win by 11. I don't get that call. I don't get it. Like I said, if you weren't on the air right now, Dave, I'd be like I was on my video right now, freaking the fuck out about that. Because
you can still do that. I hate to be the one holding you back here. It's like this is your calm Zen night of the week. This may be a bad matchup here. You know, maybe we need someone who can allow you to flow. Keeping you calm is not good entertainment.
No, I was on Dallas, though. I was on Dallas, okay? So I'll take it. And I grabbed that in-game over 39.5, so I hit that as well. I hit
you hit the sacks.
I hit the sacks. I hit Carson Palmer over 23.5. I'll take it, Dave. You know, we bounced back, and even better, I did Dallas Cowboys on all 4 of my super contest entries too. So we'll take that. It's a win. A win is a win is a win. So you know what, Dave? Next Monday, when we're talking, I guess we'll be breaking down Major League Baseball playoff matchups as well.
We will. There's a lot to see the next couple of nights. Big drama for the Cubs are is Jake Arrieta going to be good enough to go in the playoffs? John Lester has been slumping. John Lackey's been slumping. A lot of it, I think, is think about this. Here's a defending World Series champion that's sort of not even in the conversation from a lot of people right now. Cubs just might be interesting. Wrigley's going to be a tough place to win. But this is going to be big time because you know what's great, Gabe? When the playoffs start, I can finally watch the Dodgers again. and you know the difficulty we have here in Las Vegas, unless the Dodgers are playing the Angels or the Padres or the Diamondbacks, unless they're playing one of those 3 teams, I can't see a Dodger game with my package here. I'm looking forward to watching the Dodgers actually play. I have not seen one pitch of Alex Wood all season.
Unbelievable. And yet you're 3 hours away from them.
So yeah, we'll be talking baseball playoffs next week. Actually the week after that, we'll be talking NBA on these Monday nights. Way too early. NBA doing the same thing though. They needed to spread their schedule out a little bit to increase their quality of play. What they didn't do is they didn't shorten the schedule. That's the dynamic that the NBA is going to have to go to. And I think you and I talked about this on the Toronto show. If the NBA shortened their schedule, to like 52 games, they would be more popular than the NFL within a decade.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's true, Dave. We talked about the quality, and now it'll lead to less players sitting and fans getting upset. But the season isn't shorter, so it's going to be so long. By the time they're into April, they're still going to feel like they were playing forever, right? It's going to be like, fuck, this season's long, man. Like, let's just get to the playoffs. It never ends. They need to shorten the fucking games. That's what they need to do. They need to shorten the games, but they're not going to do that, Dave. That's not happening.
Yeah, the problem they have is to either shorten the games or to shorten the schedule, somebody has to make less money. And no
Well,
one
that's what I
is
mean.
willing.
And not
Yeah.
shorten the games from 48 minutes, but yeah, shorten the schedule. Exactly. Like, okay, we're not going to 52. Like when we had that strike shortened season, that was great. And it was great basketball. We're not going to 52. To me, Dave, even 74 would be a start. 76, 74, anything would be a start.
Yeah, and what they're supposed to do also scrap divisions because they don't matter anymore. There are almost no rivalries in the NBA of any kind. Scrap divisions, top 8 teams from the West, top 8 from the East, or make it all one centralized league. And guess what? 1 through 16 make the playoffs. There is no East-West anymore because even that's not terribly relevant. But at least scrap the divisions because the divisions don't make any sense. I can't think in this day and age of a natural NBA rivalry inside of the divisions that matters anymore. So scrap that. There's a lot they could do. But again, somebody's got to give some money back. Where the NBA faces their big issue when it's time to renegotiate their television contract. Because they got, arguably, one of the things that really hurt ESPN and didn't get talked about enough when they were laying people off, they might have been the worst deal in sports television history with that last NBA contract. That has caught up to them. Next time around, the NBA is not going to see the same kind of money thrown out there.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah, the future of television, sports, contracts, that's a whole other story where the future is going with that. Dave Malinsky with us from Las Vegas, Nevada. Dave, it's always a pleasure, sir. Look forward to seeing you again. Hopefully, I don't know. I'm thinking about coming down to Vegas. Like I said, maybe New Year's weekend type thing.
Well, we gotta repeat some of this material in Toronto tomorrow morning, don't we?
No, I'm always come up fresh. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff, and God knows what'll happen before now and then. Maybe Donald Trump's going to sign an executive order shutting the NFL down.
Yeah, we got time. We've got 15, 16 hours. So much, and that's who
knows what fucking Trump is going to tweet in between now and the time that you and I speak in 14 hours.
Yeah, the difference, like you had your Rob Ford era, but at least you didn't have to fear that. Like it was somewhat entertaining.
Yeah, Rob Ford didn't have the button anywhere. You're right.
Yeah, we've got this fear that something disastrous could happen. And maybe the NFL was the best example. There was no upside to have entered that arena. There was no gain. There was nowhere to go with that was going to help anybody anywhere. The judgment wasn't there, to just leave that alone. So we sort of have our fears from day to day. With Ford, you just had basic entertainment. Even if you disagreed with him, he was a likable guy.
We were talking about the comparisons of Rob Ford and Donald Trump the other night, actually, on the show. Both inherited money. They're so similar, actually. Both bombastic, politically incorrect, both rich, both men of the people, yet both somehow were multimillionaires who didn't want to be around the people. Like, it's amazing, the similarities between the two of them. And Trump actually came here to build. There's a Trump Tower here. At least there was. They took his name off of it. There was a Trump Tower here. And when they opened it, of course, him and fucking Ford hit it off big time, And when Rob Ford actually had his crack problems and stuff, I remember Trump tweeted to defend him and stuff.
Thing
with Doug Ford. Thing with Rob Ford is Rob Ford would answer your call at 3 a.m. and an old lady had a fucking cat in a tree. He'd come deal with it. Donald Trump's not answering someone's calls from fucking from Queens at 4 a.m. Trust me.
Yeah, this was a disappointment. Here was the disappointment, though. Is it something that didn't have to happen, but what it did is it exposed kind of a darkness that we have culturally. It is amazing the inability for a large segment of our society to hear a complex argument. And that's what we found is there were a lot of people who just couldn't hear it. And one of the things you're going to see, it's going to be on Brian Gubble on HBO tomorrow night. One of the reasons why Kaepernick chose to kneel when the time came, he had a long discussion with a Green Beret. And how did the Green Beret react to their fallen? They took a knee. There was something special about that. So Kaepernick thought, you know what? this might be a way of getting these points out into the discussion. And what have we found in the last 48 hours? Some people just can't hear it. They don't have the ability to listen. They are so mired and bogged down. That's the difficulty we're in, because we're going to be in this swamp for a while. This is something that we didn't think.
Yeah, this is just the beginning of this. Yeah, you're right, Dave. Of people are locked in, and there's no turning back right now. And I think this will be used probably for maybe a 16 to 20 year cycle, I would imagine, Dave.
Yeah, the one thing this is a neutral point because this crosses all barriers. But we understand in life people take sides. You want to go where you're comfortable. You want to feel important. You want something you can relate to. When you stay on the same side of a fence so long that you can't see what's on the other side of the fence anymore, you have become the problem. And it doesn't matter whether left or right, but once you've been on the same side for that long, that you just can't even listen to the argument or you can't see the other side, guess what? The other side isn't the problem. At that point, when you can't see it anymore, you have become the problem. So if you want, I was going to say, if you want to watch this tomorrow night, this will be on Real Sports with Brian Gumbel. A guy named Nate Boyer. He's a Green Beret. He will be on with Gumbel to talk about how this actually originated. These are the details that people should have thought about before they formed their opinions. Before Donald Trump said a word, he should have gotten to the bottom of this and understood what it was.
But it's the media, Dave. And it starts with the media. It's really the Fox. It's the Fox News. Fox News started this. And, they started this with the sort of blind, the blind loyalty to one team, no matter what. And like you said, we're in an era right now where if you took Sean Hannity and Rachel Maddow, they would fucking argue with each other about the sky being black. No, it's not. Or you know why it's black? Because you fucking, 20 years ago, you didn't handle it and it could be blue, but it's black. Like we live in an era right now where they can't even admit, like if you sat down and said, you know what, torturing animals is a bad thing. Do you agree? It would be hard for them to both agree. Like it's like a sin right now. Look the other day when Trump worked with Schumer and Pelosi, his fucking base were pissed. How fucking dare he negotiate? What the fuck's he doing negotiating? We don't negotiate. It's a polarized era, and I said it before, Dave. If Jesus Christ was resurrected right now and he ran for office, they would say, Jesus says turn the other cheek. I say Jesus is soft on crime. There's a fucking spin for everything now, Dave. And like you said, it's not going to end anytime soon.
No, because you can make money off the spin. And that's what Fox was so good at, is they were able to recognize a segment. Hey, guess what? We can monetize this segment.
See, like I said, I look in the chat now, and I see someone talking about 16 white cops killed blacks. There were 700 black-on-black murders. Well, that's nothing to fucking do with what we're talking about, Reckless. But
nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Nothing to do, Reckless, with what me and Dave are just talking about. But it shows that you're just racist, Reckless. But I already knew that about you.
It's what happens when people choose a side, and they're going to defend their side no matter what. When you do that, you're not looking for truth anymore. You're looking for bits and pieces of evidence to support your side. Once you stop looking for truth, and truth is when you look at everything.
So hold on, let me just say, this guy, this idiot Reckless in our chat. Reckless, me and Dave are talking about how people don't listen to another side now, and you're blabbering on about black-on-black crime and cops getting killed by black people. What the fuck does that have to do with what me and Dave are talking about? Absolutely fucking nothing, Reckless.
It makes the point. It actually makes our point. Yeah, that is what people will get up and do, is they'll try to support their position instead of elevating their position. But that's what we have. Fortunately, we can get up and deal with the betting board tomorrow because we're not going to solve those other problems. They're likely, unfortunately, to get worse instead of better. I said this was a bad weekend for us as a culture because we found out that people just didn't want to listen. They didn't want to take a breath. They wanted to be proactive. They were defending their position when they didn't even know what their position was supposed to be. They were defending it just for the sake of defending. I'm on this side of the fence. That's that.
Yeah, but that's the thing. People, and I apologize to Reckless. He says he was talking to someone else in the chat, but Reckless, I know your politics, Reckless. All right. But that's the whole point, Dave. You know, people get mad. Look, people are getting mad at us right now for saying that people don't listen to each other. That's what it's come to. Or when did it become another thing too, where it's like, you know, I remember Rick Santorum did this, you know, and it's a big right-wing thing to do. You know, these Northeasterners and their university professors. Oh, you mean Ted Cruz? So you mean Ted Cruz? The school that you went to, Ted Cruz, the Ivy League school? You know, like Donald Trump, I wish I was from Alabama. Yeah, I'm sure you do, Don. Fuck. I'm sure you fucking do. You know, it's just crazy. Like, somehow being a professor, being smart is now bad. You know, this guy went to university. Fuck, yeah. Oh, God. You know, he's so out of touch. He's a university professor. You know, it's like, you know, now it's demeaning to be smart, right? It's, you know, you're not supposed to be smart, but it's funny that, you know, you have all these politicians on both sides that push this stuff. Yet they're all part of the same club. They're playing everybody. And everybody that falls for sides, Daves, to me, are suckers. I don't give a shit. I know the Democrats are evil. The Republicans are evil. And if you think that one side is better than the other and you get involved in this fucking team shit, black versus white, Coke versus fucking Pepsi, you're a fucking moron that's part of the fucking problem, in my opinion. But that's just me.
But, you know, the funny thing is, and this is going to sound out, this is what we take advantage of at the betting windows each day. Do a local show here in Vegas on Monday mornings. And one of the things we talked about is they said, wow, you know, the books cleaned up yesterday. How did you do for your pockets? Well, here's the thing that people don't understand. Sports betting is a lot like poker. I don't win money from the books. Most of the money I win is from the other bettors. Yeah, it's taking advantage of mistakes in the marketplace, when lines move the wrong way, when people have the wrong perceptions on these games. It's why we dig so deeply. I mean, I've been digging Oakland, Washington for 24 hours, and I still don't have an answer. I watch the game. I look at the play-by-play. I look at the box score. I go to grade it. I still don't have an answer, but maybe we take advantage of somebody that does. So when we see irrational behavior in the marketplace, that can actually be a good thing. We go out there and try to irrational behavior. That's why you could lay Michigan -9 against Purdue last week, a game that closed 14.
And I did.
Look at all these. Hey, Purdue's hot. They've got a great young coach in Jeff Brom. Let's get on this bandwagon. Well, here's something I think you and I talked about a Tuesday on your show, and we talked about it later in the week on a Vegas show on Friday. Talked to an NFL scout during the week, and I said, okay, let's look at the Michigan starting lineup and look at the Purdue starting lineup. 22 positions out there. You've got an open draft. How many Purdue players do you pick out of the 22 positions? He said probably none. So here's a game that actually was as low as 9. And yeah, Purdue's gotten a little better. But Michigan might have honestly had a better player at just about every position. They didn't play great. But what did he do in the second half? They took control of the game. These are the things that we do in taking advantage of misperceptions in behaviors.
Misperception behaviors. You see our chat right now, Dave. Anytime politics comes up. Dave Malinsky, read his daily column, Vegas Point Blank. You'll see it in the morning. Dave, it's always a pleasure, a prolonged appearance here with the professor tonight, but great insight. We had a lot of fun talking different subjects as always, Dave.
Well, we'll have the NFL Week in Review coming up at Point Blank tomorrow morning. And Gabe, I guess I'll be talking to you not too long from now.
Yeah, 14 hours and 10 minutes. 6 minutes, Dave.
Well, try to at least get a little bit of sleep.
Yeah, set a little count. I'll get you a little clock, like with my face. That'd be great. Like a little clock with my face. And, see you in 12 hours, Dave.
This has been fun. Thanks, Gabe.
Thanks, Dave. Dave Malinsky with us, everybody. All right. I feel bad for calling Reckless a racist now. I'm like, I look in the chat, I'm like, fucking Reckless. I've gotten into a Reckless in the past, though. That's why. He's one of our guys. You know, I have a buddy of mine. I have a buddy of mine who lives in Denver right now, T-Bone. And T-Bone's never really been too into politics too much over the years. But he is a big Trump supporter. But Trump, T-Bone brought up a good point. And yeah, he said to me, he said, has anybody ever asked you once in a sports book in Vegas who you voted for? I'm like, no. This whole shit about, civil race wars and division and all this, it's a media and a political ploy, people. People are getting along, okay? I was just in the United States last week or 2 weeks in Vegas. I didn't have any problems with any black people, Mexican people, or fucking any other fucking people. And no one had a fucking problem with me. There is no racial unrest in the fucking streets. Yes, black people get shot by the cops. White people get shot by the cops. But this fucking main drive by the media that there's fucking KKK running around everywhere, that there's fucking Black Panthers about to blow fucking up Whitey, is a pile of dog shit. All right? And the only reason they're selling it is because it's good for fucking ratings and it fucking distracts. The only reason Donald Trump brought up the Kaepernick shit the other night, Kaepernick's not even in the fucking league anymore, Trump. All right? You can bitch about it, he's not even there. The only reason Trump brought this up is because he doesn't want people bringing up the fact that he can't repeal Obamacare, that there is no fucking wall, there is no fucking tax reform, there's fucking nothing. All right? Nothing. And the healthcare repeal is going to fail again this week. There's no fucking wall coming. Jack shit is coming. And he doesn't want you to talk about that. And he doesn't want his fucking little Trumpites fucking realizing, you know what, Trump ain't actually doing jack shit. So it's easier to go to Alabama and talk to a bunch of fucking hillbillies and talk racist shit because he knows everyone's going to jump up and down for it. Figure it the fuck out. The guy's throwing a fucking fade pattern, fucking bootleg screen. And people run for it every time. I said this. Every time fucking Trump doesn't get shit done, he says something racist. Fuck. Figure it out, man. He's running the same fucking play every day. Now we'll take a break.
If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm home, when I'm home. Just so far from here, focused on my own way, and never looking back to those who lived in fear. There was nothing I could do. There was nothing you said that could make me realize how much lucky I was. Just out of reach of the fire, was not aware of the nightmare. But when I stopped to see those eyes begging for help, begging for hope, just need to open my eyes down to try to change them to sunshine, to be someone among others. I can try to leave out bleed tonight. If I am sad tonight, I don't have the time to find. Without firework tonight, I'm so tired tonight.
All right. We had a brief political talk there on the program. I didn't mean to, actually. I stay away from this shit. Because it just angers me. It angers me. All right. I could do it personally, and I do it on my own private shows sometimes. But the whole point was, like Malinsky said, you generally can't have an intelligent conversation with people anymore, and especially you can't in a public forum, and you can't with a public message board. It inevitably leads to chaos, to anger, to people telling each other to go fuck themselves, to racist stuff. So that's my whole deal. Like, I used to tweet a lot about politics and stuff and world issues, and I don't now because people are too stupid to understand my tweets. They can't tell sarcasm. They can't tell. Or if I criticize one side, they think I'm on their team. I don't like Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton is a fucking evil witch. Doesn't mean, though, that I got my fucking mouth sucked around Donald Trump's cock. They both can be bad. That's what I like, that's what drives me crazy in this world. There's more than two sides to every fucking story. They're all playing you. That's what I don't understand. And people don't get it. Donald Trump fucking invited fucking Hillary and Bill to his fucking wedding, okay? It's like wrestling. Politics is wrestling. They're all buddies. They're all backstage together. It's just whether this rich guy's going to win or this rich chick's going to win. The fanaticism is fucking insane, though, now. I've never seen anything like it in my lifetime. I'm from Quebec, where politics is fucking heated and big and like serious and shit. Like they shoot people and blow shit up in Quebec, But even Quebec isn't as bad as it is now. Like, honestly, even Quebecers will listen more. You can sit down to someone in Quebec and say, listen, this is why I think you're fucked up for wanting to separate. And they'll listen to you. There's no listening anymore anywhere. A real polarized world. But like Dave said, you can use this to your advantage in the sports world, and I do. And case in point was the Cincinnati Bengals. People have short attention spans. People are really stupid. Like never, and look, I'm only 47, so I haven't been around forever, but in my life, and I have a good memory from being a kid, but let's just say from like, let's call it from like my teenage years on. I can't tell when I was 4 years old or something, but, from pretty much like, let's say 1980 to now, this is as stupid as people have ever been. Like people do stupid things, people fucking injure themselves doing stupid shit every day. Look at YouTube videos, fucking people setting off fucking fireworks out of their mouth and shit. People didn't do that before. People didn't do this stupid shit. People weren't as stupid as we are now. That's why I fear for the future of mankind. Because the people that get elected to run the world aren't smart enough to handle the problems of the world. They're really not. Like, if it was up to me, I would smash the entire political system as we know it. I would smash it all. And I wouldn't even have fucking, I guess you would call it a dictatorship. It wouldn't, I wouldn't have fucking this bullshit where we fucking vote for whoever the most popular fuckface is, than whoever has the cutest and fucking best fucking negative ad on TV. You know, like each category, each fucking department should be run by people who are experts. Like Rick Perry runs the nukes right now. Is Rick Perry an expert in nuclear anything? Rick Perry can't take a piss without missing the toilet. But, you know, he's in charge. Should be like Neil deGrasse Tyson should be the head of fucking NASA. And you know what I mean? You know, you're a mathematician. You're our fucking numbers guy. You're a great economist. You're our fucking, you know, as opposed to let's vote for a fucking person who's going to put a bunch of fucking people and a bunch of fuckheads in fucking charge. Nikki Haley's, oh, she's doing a great job at the UN. The bitch is a fucking governor from fucking South Carolina. What the fuck does she know about world issues? Nothing. Like, but I digress. I don't give a shit. Whoever's in charge doesn't affect my life. And it doesn't affect your life. Unless you're Mexican or Muslim, you know, it doesn't fucking matter, okay? You're going to get taxed. You're going to bitch. And people on news and TV are going to tell you why they're so fucking bad and the other guy is so fucking great. Nothing's going to ever change. You know, you might think it makes a fucking difference who's fucking running things. It doesn't. It won't, and it never will. You might have little cosmetic little things and you want to build a wall and fucking do racist shit, then yeah, feel better about yourselves and do it. But yeah, no one's life ever gets fucking better or worse because of a fucking politician. But as I was stating, you know, so people look like, oh, the Cincinnati Bengals suck. They can't win this week. People bet now on what they saw the week before. You know, people, like, they just remember the shortest possible route. You know, shortest possible path to anything is the way that people take now. So I think you can take advantage of it. I've been talking about this for years. Basically fading the media, you know, fake news. ESPN is fake news. You know, like anytime like the entire panel tells you a team is going to win, fade them. You know, go the opposite of what the mainstream tells you. And sports media is just as bad as the mainstream media. They're all a bunch of liars. Fuck. No, you can't rate NFL teams as religions, Zach. The NFL, isn't as ingrained as people pretend it is, as it is. I'm a diehard Buffalo Bill fan. I love the Bills. I love the Bills for 40 years. Is it a religion to me? No. Is it a religion to the fucking people that fucking get shit-faced and put mustard on their faces and slam each other through tables? No. It's just a fucking party. I brought this up, you know, the other day, 2 weeks ago, somebody asked me about that. And it was Big Man on Campus. We were talking. Get the fuck out of here, Joey Lisi. Fuck, man. Fucking tools. I would say that the only places that like wear a sport religion, I would say Alabama football. I think the only team in the NFL you could really call religion is fucking Green Bay. And the Montreal Canadiens. And I'd say the Montreal Canadiens are the closest thing that you get to a cult. Like the Canadians are a religion. Like they're bigger than the church in Quebec and shit. And, you know, you can stand on a street corner and rip God easily in Montreal. No one's going to say anything to you. Like seriously, that'd be a great video right there. Go in downtown Montreal, stand on the corner, and fucking say about how bad God is and shit. Talk shit about God. No one's going to hit you. Go on the street corner of Montreal and just stand there and say how the Montreal Canadiens are an overrated fucking piece of shit franchise. You'll get assaulted. I guarantee you'll get assaulted. Guaranteed. Fake Joe Lisi, you're gone. Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying, that we compared it to soccer. Because Big Man on Campus said there's nothing in North America, any team in North America that's anything close to like the passion that the fan bases have for their soccer teams in England and in Europe. And I agreed with him. And I said, yeah, it's true. But I said, with a few exceptions, I said Alabama's pretty fucking fanatical about football. I said Montreal and Quebec is fanatical about the Montreal Canadiens. Like, it is religion-like. I would say, the Green Bay Packers, pretty close. Mohamed Joma is a huge Pack and Habs fan. Tradition. Yeah, Gabriel Ciccone. Gabriel, you live in Montreal, so you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. It is like it's crazy. It used to be in Montreal. Well, they used to win when I grew up, but it used to be that you could criticize them and stuff. But now in Montreal, there's like a whole young generation of French fans and stuff. And it's beyond fanaticism. Like, it is a religious experience for them to go to a game and stuff. And the thing is, the team sucks. And the Canadians take advantage of them because they know this. They know we're going to sell out every fucking game and no one's going to talk shit about us because it's like you're not part of the club if you do. I'm not saying no one in Montreal ever talks shit about them. There's a few dudes in the French media that aren't scared of the team. I wasn't scared of them, and, they tried to ruin me. The Canadians took my pass away. They threatened to sue me twice. They intimidated me. But whatever. I'm not crying about it. It is what it is, but there's no love lost between me and the Montreal Canadian organization. It's funny because now I'm thinking about it, now I get mad. Like, actually, like, they were fuckers. What's the guy's name? Dominic Sayon. You can suck my cock, Dominic Sayon. Yeah, I just said it. Fuck. Ooh, I'm going to pass. The Canadians, they act. Put it this way, all right? I have a buddy of mine. I was around the Canadians. I covered him and shit. So I have a buddy of mine. Who works in the media in Montreal, Jeremy Filosa. And Fox, this is years ago when Fox had the rights to the NHL. So Fox doesn't have any reporters in Montreal. And they don't want to send somebody there, so they hired a freelancer. So they hired my buddy. And Fox says, listen, we're doing the NHL All-Star game. And we want to get a feature on Jose Theodore. So can you interview Theodore? And you're not even going to be on camera, just you asking the questions and just film him answering. And, we'll give you $1,000. They paid him well. We'll give you $1,000 or something. They're like, So he goes up to the Canadians PR guy and he's like, listen, I need to do just a quick 10-minute interview with Theodore at his locker stall. And we just want to set his goalie pads up and get a shot, with his jersey, and Buddy's like, for who and for what? And he's like, for Fox. He goes, oh, it's a big deal. It's for Fox, U.S., the All-Star game. And the PR guy for the Canadians goes, well, why would we talk to Fox? And he's like, I don't think so. No. Guy's like, no, I don't want to do that. No. So my buddy went up to Theodore point blank, and he goes, listen, Fox wants to get you on TV, but Sion just said no. And he's like, what? And he goes, no. He's all, and Jose Theodore got all excited. He's like, oh, Fox. He fixed his hair and everything. He's like, oh, it's on Fox. He like, seriously, he was like, hold on a minute. He came back. He got all pretty boyed up and shit, Theodore, you know what I mean? He fixed his hair for the interview and everything, and he did it. And then after, the Canadian guy said, I thought we said no. Like, that's what you're dealing with the Canadians. They think that, like, they think we're so big that we're not going to fucking do an interview on Fox. We're the Montreal Canadiens. You're a fucking joke, fuck. You haven't won since 1993. And you only won in 1993 because you had Patrick Waugh, and you ran Patrick Waugh away from your organization. It's like the Billy Coast, the curse of the Cubs. You never should have fucking traded Patrick Waugh. It's pretty simple. You traded your best player for a fucking feud, for a hot head coach, just like you traded PK Subban. The Canadians are fucked up, all right? They're a fucked up organization. Nobody in Montreal has the fucking balls to say it because they all want their little press pass to go to the fucking games. Hey, jackasses in the media, here's a concept. Buy a ticket. That's what I did. The Canadians took my pass away in the middle of the playoffs. Fuck. I went to the game and they fucking booted me out. And I was like, fine. And they were like, oh, now you can't get in. I'm like, no, I can get in. I can get in. I went outside. I told all the scalpers. I just got booted out. Fuck. They gave me tickets. I told the Canadians, I'll buy a ticket. You know, I don't need your pass. So what? I can eat your free fucking popcorn in the press box? Ooh, I got to be in a press box. I fucking hate the media more than I hate the Canadians, though. I hate all of you mainstream media types with a fucking passion. You don't know anything about sports, fuck. You don't know anything about sports. You walk around, you fucking, because, I write for fucking TSN.ca. I write for this newspaper. You fucking suck. You're irrelevant. Nobody knows who you fucking are. Nobody gives a shit what your fucking opinions are. Yet you all fucking pat yourself on the fucking back like you're all fucking important. Got a bunch of shithead fucking hosts on SportsCenter. I couldn't name them fucking if you gave me $1,000 fucking dollars right now. I don't know. What's this guy's name? I don't know. Darren Fuckstick. Fuck. I don't know what his fucking name is. Yeah, the Toronto Maple Leafs are dedicated, Silent Night, but it's not quite the same. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Leaf fans, there's like kids that love the Leafs, and the Leafs are a big entity. The Leafs are more of a business. The Canadians are a religion. Now, you don't understand. Like, Canadian fans, like, they have a cross on the wall and a Habs logo. There are fucking crucifixes with Habs logos. Like, you don't understand. Like, it's beyond. Listen, I was very popular in Montreal before, okay? You know, and I was a very popular talk radio show host in the early 2000s in Montreal. I could do no wrong. All right, people fucking love me. I was voted the most fucking popular fucking sports personality in the city. I beat Vladimir Guerrero and Saku Koivu. Fucking Saku had cancer. All right. I think I won once, and another time I was second or something. Like, there was a little few-year run there where I was the man in Montreal. People fucking love me. That is until I picked the Carolina Hurricanes to beat the Canadians in the playoffs. Like, you would have thought that I fucking basically told them You would have thought that I basically told them that, I think that they're all fucking pieces of shit. Like, there was no, like, I didn't even see it coming. Like, just out of the blue, just a common, normal sports prediction. I was like, I don't think the Canadians can beat the Carolina Hurricanes. I think Cam Ward is going to fucking stop them. And it was like, the Canadians have problems. They can't score enough. And I was like, give me the Carolina Hurricanes in 6 games. And then, I got a phone call. Go fuck yourself. I got another call. Fuck. How dare you? It was sort of like I took a knee for the flag. You have a lot of nerve, Morency, being in Montreal and not picking the Canadians. So then you want to do that to me. So I was like, I didn't know that this was a cult. That I didn't know I wasn't allowed to have my own opinion. So the Canadians won the first game. People calling up, hey, Morency, you fucking asshole, you idiot. You said they were going to lose in 6 games. Ha, ha, ha. Joke's on you. And real serious, too. So they're up 2-0. Then I got people calling in, like, for real. I've been a big fan of yours for 3-4 years, but I'm not a fan of yours anymore because of what you've done. And I was like, good. If you're not a fan of mine anymore because I dared to pick against the Canadians, I don't want you as a fan. Don't listen to my radio show anymore. It was getting hostile. And I was getting angry because I was like, I can't believe these fucking cities turned on me like this, just like this. So the Canadians are fucking leading the series 2-0. All right. So the Canadians are leading the series 2-0. Then people are really coming at me. Not everybody. I don't want to exaggerate. For some people. My boss was pissed because he goes, you have to be supportive of the Canadians. You're too negative. This is why they don't like you and all this bullshit. And I told him I'm a fucking sports host, Wayne. I fucking pick who I think is going to win. Okay? And when they were up 2-0, he goes, I'll bet you. And I said, all right. And he goes, but even money. And I said, fine. I said, the Carolina Hurricanes will come back and win the series still. So the Carolina Hurricanes, and the first 2 games were on the road. Okay, so the Montreal Canadiens went on the road. I said in 6. So now I basically needed, and I should note, I bet like fucking $5,000, $3,000 or something on the Canes. It was a lot of money. I wasn't that rich at the time, but I went it all in, and they were fucking underdogs too. It's like plus fucking 220 or something. Plus 180. I forget the exact odds, fuck, but it was a nice little price. So I was fucked. I'm fucking biting the bullet. I'm actually thinking, holy fuck, I got to put up with this shit. And fucking, I'm going to have to fucking lose this series. And this is fucking terrible. So it's game fucking 3. It's game 3. Okay? It's game 3. I go to the game. There's no press pass for me. The only thing is, in the playoffs, they give you a new press pass. So I had a regular press pass, but they give you a new one for the playoffs. So I get there. There's no press pass for me. Except I was very friendly with the guy, the old guy at the door, the media guy, the cop. He knew me. So he says to me, he goes, oh, Mr. Morrissey, I see, he goes, I don't know. I don't have a pass here for you. He goes, it must be a mistake. He goes, just take this guest one. And he goes, we'll figure this out for the next game. I'll look into it. So I go up, and basically I get the, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. And it turned out, I said, I thought it was a mistake that my pass wasn't there. And they're like, no, it's not a mistake. We've revoked your pass. And I'm like, why? Because they're like, because you picked Carolina and you're so negative against us. They're like, if you're such a Carolina fan, why don't you ask them for a press pass? You got to go. I'm like, are you really? Because I picked Carolina, you guys really? And they're like, yep. They're like, it's the final straw. So you go, it's the final straw. You pick Carolina. He goes, why don't you ask them for a press pass? And I said, so what do you think? I'm not going to watch the game now, or, So they took my fucking pass. Okay. Carolina wins the game. Carolina wins the next game. Carolina wins the next 4 games. The Carolina Hurricanes win in 6. I was right. The entire city was wrong. Suck it. You should have fucking heard me. I was younger and more brash in those days, too. I had people calling, fuck, oh, Morency, I'm sorry. I was sorry I was emotional last week. I was like, yeah. Yeah, I remember what you said. Oh, yeah, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And the thing is, too, I really became so invested in it. I swear, I even saw the Carolina Hurricane. I saw Rod Brindamore on the street, man. I was like, you got to fucking come back, man. He was like, we got this. When it was 2-1, I said, you got to come back. Eh? I said, I put my ass on the line. He's like, no, we feel good. We feel good. I was like, come on, man. So after Carolina won, it was hard for me not to fucking cheer for them. Right? I jumped on the Carolina Hurricane bandwagon that year all the way to the Stanley Cup when they won the Cup, when I won a shitload of money. And my legend grew in Montreal because I fucking said, fuck the Canadians. I said they would lose in 6, and they lost in 6. Mohamed Jamou, you must be from Montreal, Mohamed, if you remember in this shit. Whole series turned around and Saku got pitchfork in the eye. I remember that. I know. The turning point for me in that series, and you raise a good point, and we're 1-up. But wasn't that when okay, from Edmonton, all right. Yeah, and they beat you guys, right? Fuck. Barely. I know. For me, the turning point, though, was no, Michel Therrien got a fucking penalty for fucking chirping Kerry Fraser. He got a penalty. Remember, Therrien fucking really lost it, fuck. He fucking lost it. And scored right away after, and the fucking series just went downhill, fuck, after that. Oh, Gallagher's your cousin. Oh, yeah, I'd like to have a beer with Gallagher. I like his style, man. I think he chirps a little too much, I tell him, but that's what he gets paid for. Andy, hey, Fraser's a Habs. Come on, Andy. That's what Leaf fans say. They're like, oh, fucking Fraser hates us. Fraser hates us. That's why we didn't beat the Kings and Gretzky. Yeah, I'm just, exactly, Mom. I'm being honest. He does. He never stops, man. He's like the Energizer, that guy. Blah, blah. He never stops, Gallagher. I've never seen him fucking not talk. He's consistent with it, though, eh? I like him. He gets fucking knocked on his ass. He gets up. Fuck you. And blah, blah. He just keeps coming. Fuck. He's, I like Gallagher. I like Gallagher. Gallagher brings it. Gallagher plays with heart and passion. He represents the logo. I have no problem with Gallagher. You know, the Canadians just, they need other guys. That's my problem. I don't know. It's hard to keep up with the Canadians. Who's their coach now again? Oh, yeah, Claude Julien. Fuck. I had to think. I'm like, which old coach did they bring back this time? I'm like, oh, yeah, Julien. I got the Invictus Games on in the background here. Pretty cool shit. This fucking chick is really throwing this fucking disc, man. The fucking this chick right now, she's on Stephanie Morris, U.S. Army. She lost her leg, fuck, man. Disc throw, man. She just fucking hurled this fucking thing. I got to get down to one of these Invictus. Galchenyuk is a good player, and I don't know what the deal is why the Canadians don't play him on a top line and the power play more and stuff. I agree. Pete Loshak looks nothing like Brandon Gallagher. Gallagher is a dude with red hair. Loshak's a guy. I love Loshak. Loshak's just got that funny look to his face, that with the mustache. He reminds me of Luigi and the Mario Brothers. I watch some of Loshak's videos. I like his videos. Do what for Bruce, Drizella? Do what for Bruce? Yeah, so as I was saying, the Invictus Games. Yeah, he's like a Mario Brothers with picks. I love. He's got the mustache and he's always fidgeting around. And I like Loshak. Got the line here, -18, Ohio State. I enjoy Loshak's videos. I watch his videos. He's got good picks too. He seems to win a lot. So he's had a nice run in college football. He used to come on my TV show years ago. He was like my introduction to the SBR guys. Yeah, good guy. We'll get him on here one of these nights. I Loshak impersonations. Yeah, we'll start. So hockey starts next Thursday. Next Thursday. Always a pleasure, T. Rich. So we'll start talking a little hockey. You know, we're gonna have basketball in the rotation soon. We'll have hockey. Let's see. We got a lot of my regular guys in the chat here. Yeah, it is live, Delon. Muhammad. Definition of a lot. Definition of a lot. We're going to talk a lot of hockey on the program. Hockey. I'm Steve Coleus. I'm Steve Coleus, and I fucking love hockey. Steve Coleus, the best. The fuck is fucking NBA fucking basketball on? Fucking bunch of fucking guys jumping around. No one wants to watch the NBA. Put a fucking hockey game on. I remember Cooley's getting mad because I worked on a network with this guy, Steve Cooley. Great hockey guy, Cooley. Like, you know, there's a Raptor game on. He's like, we fucking put an AHL game on. Hockey, you get more better ratings. Hockey's the best sport in the world, Gabe. Canadians are the best players. The Russians are a bunch of communists. They're dirty players, Gabe. You can't trust the Russians. If I put together a hockey team, I'd have 23 Canadians on the team, Gabe. Maybe a couple of Americans. All right. I guess a few Americans, but only a few. Got to be Canadian kids. I remember, of course, you got to have Canadian kids on your team. You know, maybe a few Americans, but not too many Canadians. I heard Don Cherry had his junior team in the Ontario Hockey League in Mississauga. So they're like, oh my God, Don Cherry's got an OHL team. It's going to be great. So Don Cherry, of course, said Canadian kids only, or Americans. That was Don Cherry's thing. North Americans, right? So Cherry's like, only North Americans on my team, and everyone loved it. You know, it was sort of very Donald Trumpish. They were like, fucking right, man. These fucking European fucking sissies and shit. You know, we're going to have an only Canadian and American team. They set a record, okay, that team. They were the worst team in the history of the Ontario Hockey League. I'm not kidding. They were the worst team in the history of the Ontario Hockey League. So the next year, he did it again. Because people are like, you know, maybe you should rethink your fucking sort of xenophobic roster here. Don Cherry's like, no. We're going to get good Canadian boys. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Second year, same shit. They're fucking terrible as fuck, all right? And then at this point, they're basically like, can we fucking get Don Cherry out of here? Like Don Cherry ruined it. He ruined them. Like he ruined them. He traded like the Russian kids. Like he's fucking. So then basically Don Cherry did about face. All right. Yeah, I guess, you know, we'll have some Russian guys on the team. So by year 3, Cherry was like, okay, I guess the Europeans can be on our team. But by then, fucking, you know, 200 people a game were showing up, and they're like, all right, team's bankrupt. Fuck. Thanks, Don. Like Kyle Chutz, he ruined them. You know, like really, they were a successful franchise, too. They had a successful franchise. They've never been the same since. They never recovered. Like, they thought it would be the greatest thing ever that Don Cherry took over their fucking program, and it turned into a nightmare. It was poorly run. They didn't pay the bills. Fucking, you know, he was a fucking xenophobe. Fucking, oh, let's get good Canadian boys. Your team fucking sucked. Yeah, and Kyle Johnson knows that scene well. He covers this stuff. So, you know, you would know better than I do, but I remember it at the time. I remember telling people, I was like, that's not going to work. Anytime that you put together a team based on ethnicity or nationalism, come on. So what, Don, you know? The big man probably heard our conversation, how the hockey talk started. I will say this, though, big man, and everyone tuning in right now, that hockey fans are pretty fucking insane. Like, put it this way. People in Winnipeg like me, all right? I do a weekly hit. I have a lot of fans in Winnipeg. If I went on Twitter right now and started saying about how the Winnipeg Jets are a fucking useless organization that'll never win, they'll fucking disown me. The Boston Bruins. Yeah, so next week, in fact, it's the Druzilla is going to like this. The pyramid must go on. But it's fantasy hockey season. So if any of you in the chat are interested in playing in a fantasy hockey league with us this year, we're actually having our draft this weekend. We're actually having our draft this weekend. I'm going to make the official announcement tomorrow, actually, online. And the hockey always fills up fast. I put out tomorrow. I'm going to tweet out tomorrow. Hey, we're doing a fucking fantasy hockey league, $200 entry, draft Saturday. It'll probably be full by the end of the day or by Wednesday type thing. Because there's not a ton of fantasy hockey leagues out there. We've had our own fantasy hockey league for about 4 years running now. If you're talking about me, Ciccone, I'm having a hard time figuring the Jacksonville Jaguars out. If you notice, there's a few teams where I'm like 3-0 against the spread with them, and there's a few teams that I'm going to take a step back and I don't want to touch. All right, so we'll take a quick break. We'll come back with some final thoughts, set the table for tomorrow, take a look at a couple of odds on the way out here. And now you guys got me all fired up for some fucking hockey. I saw the Leafs were beating up on the Canadians tonight, preseason hockey. Toronto Maple Leafs. Well, it'd be interesting to see if the Leafs can continue their ascent. Leafs looked real good last year in the playoffs down the stretch for a young team. Have to like the direction that they're going in. I'm looking right now. I don't see any win totals or point totals here at the book I'm looking at. To win a division, no division odds. Atlantic Division. Wow. The Tampa Bay Lightning are favored to win the Atlantic Division, but overwhelmingly. Plus 230. Tampa Bay plus 230, Toronto Maple Leafs plus 350. And this is the first time I'm looking at this year, and it's kind of blowing my mind here, seeing like the Toronto Maple Leafs are the second choice. The Canadians are the third choice. The Canadians ain't winning shit. Fuck. Canadians ain't winning jack shit this year. What, because they got Jonathan Drouin? I'll tell you what, though. You guys want to make money, and this is why I'm excited for this. I've been around a long time, gentlemen, and I know the Montreal Canadiens patterns inside fucking out. I'll tell you right now, the Montreal Canadiens do this every year, and people act surprised every year for some reason after. I don't know why, but they do. Every year. I'll tell you right now. Like, I don't know. I haven't paid attention to preseason hockey, though, and I had it on a bit in between, like, before the football game. And I could hear the guys on TSN talking about the Canadians have big problems on defense and it looked like shit in the preseason and all this shit. But I don't know. I haven't followed the preseason at all. I'm not going to lie to you. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you the record of any team in the preseason. The only thing I can tell you about the preseason is I know the Kings beat the Canucks twice in fucking China the other night because I know I bet on one of the games. But the Canadians do the same shit every year. They start out like 14-5. They're fucking hot as fuck. Everybody goes crazy for them. And then right around going into Christmas or whatever, they're going to fucking go on a tank job. Basically, long story short, the Canadians start out hot. They hit a wall. They suck. They get hot. They hit a wall. They suck. They get hot again, make it to the playoffs, beat the Bruins, and then get eliminated. Rinse and repeat. It's like a stock market trend algorithm that happens every year. It goes up. It goes sort of a little bit down, goes way down, goes up, back down, back up, into the playoffs. And they always do it. They're always 14-2 or fucking 16-5, and people are like, oh, they're going to win the fucking cup. And then by fucking Christmas, they're fucking freaking out. The Canes, every year the Canes go on a West Coast Christmas trip. Panic, oh my God, they've lost 8 in a row. They've lost 10 or 12. This team sucks. Then the Habs always get hot in March for some reason. I'm telling you, they always win in March. And it's always this, oh my God, they're heating up. Like, it repeats itself. But yeah, I'm not expecting too much from the Montreal Canadiens this year, but I got to be honest with you. I haven't done my work yet, but we got some good hockey guests we'll bring on. I think Chris Meany, you guys will like Meany on this show. We'll get Meany to come on. Meany loves hockey. So we'll take a quick break. We'll come back with some final thoughts. Set you up, big man on camera. Actually, you know what? I'm glad you're here, big man. I was going to invite you on the TV show tomorrow. I'll send you a DM. I'm glad you're here on Friday. I would have forgotten. Fuck, I don't know. It's 1 in the morning. What the hell am I doing still on right now? The hell am I doing?
If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm home. When I'm home. Just so far from here, focused on my own way, with never looking back to this world that lived in fear. There was nothing I could do, there was nothing you said that could make me realize how much lucky I was. Just out of reach of the fire, was not aware of the nightmare. But when I stopped to see those eyes begging for help, begging for hope, just need to open my eyes down to try to change them to sunshine, to be someone from my God that I can try. If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have the time to find. If I work tonight, I'm so tired tonight, I'm falling asleep when I'm home. When I'm alone, way to go, no one back, can't see. I can see my life is crap. I have to see them too. I just live into my world, far from the pain, the feel. Was not a reach of desire, was not aware of starving. When I start to see those eyes begging for help, begging for help, just need to open my eyes now to try to change up the sunshine, to be someone among other I can try. If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have the time to find. If I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'm falling asleep when I'm home. I was so alone, I was so blind, I was so dumb and I was tired. I was so wrong, I was so blind, I was so Hiding away, selling the honesty and all the ties that bind. Hiding away, suffer the consequence of all the times I lied. Do you hold a hole when you feel like you're all alone? You're so disconnected, so hold a hole, so addicted now to the world within. Now you see the wicked side of me. I've had enough, but it won't be in. Now you see the wicked side of me. Side of me. Some kind of rage is taking a hold of me, and I cannot be saved. Some kind of rage, and I don't think I can change my self-destructive ways. Do you hold a hole when you feel like you're all alone? You're so disconnected, so hold the hole, so addicted now to the world within. Now you see the wicked side of me. I've had enough, but it won't be in. Now you see the wicked side of me. Side of me. The wicked side of me.
All right, level 3 as we wrap up the Monday Night Meltdown. We appreciate everybody that tuned in here this evening at SBR. For your soccer picks tomorrow, check out Big Man on Campus. And I tell you what, Kyle Johnson knows his soccer as well. Check out Kyle on Twitter. Post your Twitter in here, Kyle. Let people know where to follow you. Kyle's got some good soccer plays, does videos. We get Kyle on Google Hangouts one of these nights. Talk some soccer. Big Man will like that. So what's going on in the sports world? All right, Villanueva threw teammates under the bus. Spurs Popovich. Fuck, I'm sick of this fucking protest Trump shit. Fuck. Another thing is, too, taking a knee at a football game, you're going to change that shit in some social fucking landscape. You guys really want to do something in a fucking community. like an NFL, I want to bring this up actually. Like an NFL player taking a knee and shit, and I'm all for the right to take a knee, but it's not like it means anything. The people on the right are freaking out about this. They're over panicking, and the players that are doing this shit, it's not some huge statement. I don't know, like. It's not John Carlos and shit. It's, to me, it doesn't have a fucking hell of a lot of meaning. I'll be honest with you. So what? You take a knee before the fucking game, and then you go out to the club and punch a chick in the face after the game. Or, you go to the fucking, I'm not saying everyone in the NFL does that, but, there's a lot of guys in the NFL do a lot of good and shit, but a lot of these guys taking a fucking knee and shit. What does it mean? What are they doing to change society? It's pretty much a hashtag. It's like fucking do-gooders at home that don't do anything to help society. People that walk past homeless people. You see it all the time. I see people all the time, fuck. There's a bunch of fucking people that beg for money on the street near where I live, and I give change to some of them. A few of them I don't like, fuck. There's one dude I don't like. So I never give to him, but when I can, I give, if I have change and shit, I'll give it to a chick. The only thing is, I go to this store a lot, so I can't give them every fucking time I go. It's just, I'd be broke. I did it before. Fuck. I was like, oh, I'll help these people. These ladies don't have anything. I give to the women ones, and I realized I added up. I'm like, fuck, I gave away like $15 to these people this week. I can't give fucking $60 a month to people outside of a gas station. Fuck. But anyways, I see people with money, getting into BMWs. They have money and shit, and they have fucking change, and they blow right past these people outside the store. They get all fucking whatever. And these are the same fucktards that are on Facebook and Twitter bitching about social fucking issues, but they don't do jack shit in their real life. I'll tell you a good story, actually. A good example is Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro is a great actor, but Robert De Niro, I see, he's big fucking, he's bitching about Trump all the time, and he's Mr. Social Justice and all this shit. And I know somebody that owns property in a Tribeca district. And a buddy of mine, Paul Bovey. Paul Bovey's a happening dude. And Paul Bovey, so he owned a restaurant or something, Paul. Told me I owned a bar restaurant, and he goes, Robert De Niro's fucking house was there. He goes, Robert De Niro's like fucking condo loft or whatever was in a neighborhood. And, he basically stated that Robert De Niro complained about a club being too urban and shit. So basically, Robert De Niro's out there. Robert De Niro's out there talking about, what this and that. He's such a great guy. He's such a great guy. And then Robert De Niro in real life is bitching at my friend that there's too many black people smoking weed outside the club. In real life. I remember Bovey told me, he goes, De Niro's, it was out in the news. He goes, De Niro's a big phony. Fuck. He goes, he fucking owned he lived in the neighborhood. He goes, he fucking filed complaints against my place because fucking there was too many fucking minorities and shit. And he goes, we used to have a night, and there was a lot of, Puerto Ricans and like, hip hop and dance nights and shit. And he's like, De Niro complained. He goes, and you see this fucker on TV talking about social shit. He goes, in real life, the motherfucker complained, all right? Not in my backyard. You know what I mean? So it's typical liberal. Typical liberal, fuck. Yeah, what's good, It's like Leonard DiCaprio bitching about the environment. Well, he fucking, Leonard DiCaprio's big environmental guy, right? Once DiCaprio fucking was filming in LA a movie, and he told the producers, listen, I need to get away. He can do whatever he wants, right? So he's like, listen, he goes, I'm going to Vegas. And they're like, what? We're doing a movie. He's like, yeah, don't worry. I'll be back tomorrow. He's like, and they're like, when are you going? He's like, right now. So DiCaprio basically grabbed a couple of people on the set, a couple of chicks and fucking people. And he goes, let's go to Vegas. So they went to Vegas on a private plane, obviously. And DiCaprio got off the plane and told the pilot, keep the plane running. Keep the plane running because I don't know when I'm going to be back. He goes, I might be back in an hour. I might be back in 6 hours, but just keep it running. There's your guy telling you that you shouldn't leave your light on while he's fucking banging some bitch at the Bellagio VIP fucking lounge doing fucking blow with a plane running. Because he's so impatient, he doesn't want to get to the airport and have to sit there for them to charge it up and shit. Must be nice, right? No one wants to sit on the tarmac for 20 minutes. So, hey, just keep it running. Don't worry about it. Fuck. I'll pay. And I'll keep it running. He's the fucking he's really, hey Delon, that's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like the right or the left. Like earlier I was sort of bashing the right a bit, but I don't like the left either. They're fucking fake ass hypocrites. Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton are the reason so many black people are in jail right now. Not the Republicans. You have to be educated and not be blinded by mainstream fake news media on both sides because it's all lies. Fuck. Yeah, so I wanted to get that off my chest. Yeah, so I think they have the right to protest. I don't have a problem with it. I think they'd be better off just playing the national anthems with the players not on the field. And I've said this before. There's no need to play the national anthem at these games anyways. You play the national anthem at fucking international sporting events. It's the Olympics or, Canada versus Russia, Canada versus USA. Play the anthem. We don't need to play the anthem at a Philadelphia Eagle football game. We don't need to play the anthem at a Toronto Maple Leaf hockey game. I'm telling you, like, you know, no, I'm aware, Stooch. So is Seth Rich. See, that's the thing. I'm all over the place. That's why I, you know, like people. That's why I can't talk about this shit with people too much, because I really am all over the place. Like, I do believe that Seth Rich was murdered for leaking the Democratic stuff. I do believe in that one. I think Sean Hannity's bang on that one. Right? There are some things that are real. There are some things that aren't real. Bill Clinton is a rapist. He's a pervert. Like, I'm not a big Bill Clinton fan. I'm not a big Bill Clinton fan. Anyways, we'll change the subject. You want to talk about them ripping off the Haitian people and the fucking Clinton Foundation? Where's up? What all that money? Where's all that money now, anyways? Yeah, you guys really believe that fucking Seth Rich fucking got you really think that Seth Rich fucking just got randomly robbed on a nice street in Washington, but he didn't even get robbed? And he got hit with a silencer? And no one talks about it. The mainstream like leaves it out. He got beaten up too. He got beaten up. It wasn't just a random shot. Like, he got beaten up. Basically, you know, couple of, you know, the old SUV with the tinted windows pulls up, got out, fucking told him, you made a big mistake, kid. Just to let him know, you know, you made a big mistake. Boom. Left for dead. Washington, D.C. police, of course, have no clues whatsoever. But if a brother in the hood shoots someone, man, he gets busted right away. No clues, no video, no nothing. I don't know. It's a big mystery. It must be a robbery gone wrong. Yeah. And Oswald killed Kennedy. And fucking Bin Laden's in the water, and fucking... Yeah, and the hijackers acted alone. I know. Vig Simon, totally right. Michael Hastings. Michael Hastings was totally murdered. Totally murdered. 100% Vig Simon. They said, oh, he was drunk driving and he was driving fast. First off, he didn't drink. Secondly, he didn't drive fast. He was a big pussy. His wife even said, fuck after. She goes, Michael like drove, like anyone that knew Michael Hastings knows that the guy drove ultra cautiously. He was like, people, his friends used to joke to him, what's wrong with you? Why do you drive like a grandmother? He didn't drive fast. There he is fucking zooming fucking in Hollywood right into a fucking tree, and his car blows up. But it's not like it's possible at all to fucking rig a car, right? And override his computer system. No. There's no way that anybody would be able to figure out how to do that. Especially to a guy that says, I've got a blockbuster fucking scoop that I'm about to drop. No, I'm 100% Vic Simon. He was, he was a heavy hitter, Hastings. He knew a lot of shit that, he wasn't supposed to publish, and he was going to publish it. You know who else got murdered, too? Breitbart. Andrew Breitbart. Andrew Breitbart was murdered, too. 100%. Breitbart was really upsetting people, and if you remember, Breitbart said, I have a video with Barack Obama that'll change everything. And I don't know, 2 days later, he was dead. So make what you will of it. And the thing is, the night he died, he was in a bar in LA. And I guess Breitbart used to hang around like with liberals and shit all the time. He used to like fighting with them in bars. So I guess Breitbart was, he was an asshole, but in real life, he was a big boozer, and he used to love political debate. So he used to go to bars in LA, and he'd argue with people, and they'd get drunk and shit. But he's old school guy. He'd listen, and, they'd argue and fucking drink whiskey together and shit. So I guess Breitbart was at this bar in LA, and he was fine. People were like, yeah, he was fucking bitching about fucking Barack, and he was fucking talking shit. And he was saying about how he had a big scoop and a big video that he was going to release in 48 hours. And, but then even liberal people, they were like, in real life, he's actually a nice guy. And I wanted to hate him, but I couldn't. He was like just an energetic guy drinking and shit. And then he was walking home and he dropped dead. I don't know. I guess it could have been random heart attack, but what are the odds of that happening? I think someone poisoned him at the bar. I think somebody poisoned his drink at the bar, and then he dropped dead when he went home. Yeah, yeah. And Stooch the man, the guy who did the Breitbart autopsy, died a week after. Yeah, no coincidence. Oh, nothing to see there. I'm telling you, that one flew under the radar. Breitbart getting murdered, I'm telling you, like he was. And I'm no right or left guy. Like I said, I'll call it like I see it. But Breitbart murdered for sure. Seth Rich murdered. Michael Hastings was murdered. And finally, in closing, the biggest conspiracy. SPR must be freaking right now. What the fuck this guy's talking about? And the biggest conspiracy of them all, all right? And this one blew my mind. This one blew my mind. Stevie Wonder isn't blind. He's been playing us. I thought the same thing, Chaz. The thing is, you're Michael Hastings. He had a book coming out and shit, Chaz. So they knew. They're like, holy fuck, this guy's about to write a book about this shit. So they offed him before. Like, I never thought of it. I remember someone told me, they were like, Stevie Wonder's not blind. I was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, I'm telling you, fuck, he's not blind. They said he's visually impaired. He is visually impaired, but he's not blind. Okay. And I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, and they're like, look into it yourself. Do your own research. So I did it. It's fucking crazy. I'm like, holy fuck. There's videos and shit of him in which, I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm starting to wonder. Oh, here's Zach Henkel coming in with the winner of the fucking lock of the day 2 hours after the game ends. Does he really joke about it, Drew? I didn't know that. Does he say fools all you? Yeah, like I swear, look it up. Like he grabs a drink off a table once. There's another time too. He sits courtside at NBA basketball games, and like there's a few instances where he lets on and shit. Like watch the videos. There's a bunch of videos, and they're like, look, he cheers for a shot, but he does it before. Like, how would he know? You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm telling you. Look this shit up. Stevie Wonder's not blind. All right. I'm not saying this for fact. I do believe the other things for fact. I don't know enough about the Stevie Wonder thing, but when I looked into it, I came away thinking to myself, you know what? I think this guy can see. I think he's visually impaired, but he can see, you know? And with that, we end the program. You got some winners. I told you the Dallas Cowboys were going to win. And we end it with Steve. How many of you guys right now are going to end this show and punch in Stevie Wonder's not blind? Big man on campus wants to do some mob talk. That was just get a shot. Look, I'll just punch it in right now. Stevie Wonder isn't blind. All right, they're saying that basically that he was born blind. All right, here's a video. This is fucking nuts. Wow. There's a video here on stage with Paul McCartney. Stevie fucking fucked up. Paul McCartney knocks the mic stand over and Stevie Wonder catches it. What, did you hear it falling? He's on stage. Paul McCartney, the mic stand knocks over. McCartney accidentally knocks the mic stand over. Stevie Wonder, like a goalie, sticks his hand out and catches it. Look, Bomani Jones.
If Stevie ain't blind, then Tim Tebow's the greatest quarterback of all time.
Bomani Jones talking about Steve. Bomani Jones says he sold him TVs once. I don't know. It's a fucked up, weird story here, but the mic stand catch. Now, big man on campus is talking about Michael Sam's boyfriend being a bookie. Bobbert, Nile Rodgers said Stevie said hi to him before. Yeah, I said exactly. There's enough fucking things here. Hey, Bobbert, you seem to know a lot about this shit. Bobbert's a smart guy. You look at this video here of Paul McCartney and the mic stand falling. It's fucking insane. Like Stevie Wonder's instant reflex is reaches out and he catches it. There's no way in fucking hell a blind man knows that a mic stand is falling on a stage. Fuck, okay? How the fuck would he know? You know, I get it. He feels things. You don't feel a mic stand falling on a fucking stage. Fuck. Watch the video. Stevie Wonder's like Patrick Waugh. His hand just comes out and snags the fucking thing. It's like, I can watch this Stevie Wonder mic stand video all fucking night. Yeah, no shit, Muhammad. That is not a conspiracy, Muhammad. That's come on. Now you're not telling us anything new here. Why do you think the Olympic Stadium is the most expensive stadium in the history of the world? And does it look like it's the most expensive history stadium in the world? The Olympic Stadium in Montreal cost $3 billion. Like, the Montreal mob in Montreal, when they made the stadium in Montreal, what they did is they had the construction trucks that show up and they'd sign in with the stuff and they'd drive right out the back and then they'd sign in again with the stuff. They went, yeah. I'm just busting your balls, Kenko. It's all good. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, Bobber. You drop your kid off a fucking roof in front of Stevie Wonder, he's catching him. I didn't know. I like that video, though. The mic stand's fucking gold. Gold. Tupac's not still alive. Tupac's not still alive. All right, I got to get out of here at 1:33 in the morning. Nice talking a little conspiracy talk with you guys and factual talk. What's going on in late night hours? Oh, we got some esports. Hong Kong Attitude versus Rampage. It's already started. Yeah, we've got our usual typical crap-ass fucking late night tennis from, I never even heard of this place. Tashkent, Chengdu, Wuhan, Kazakhstan F7, ITF Australia F5 MD. Like I said, this is low tier tennis, man. ITF woman Hua Hin. ITF women qualifications, Brisbane. Women's doubles. I can see this right now. You got Yen Hu San versus Michael Yemmer. They're playing tennis here. There's actually more people than normal. It's a real WTA event, but, they're low-tier players. They're young or they're shit, A lot of this tennis in the middle of the night that's on, though, it's usually like, it's real. You can bet on it, and it looks like two people playing alone. There's no one in the, sometimes there's not even stands. It's just like a court, but there's a judge. And it's real. It's approved tennis. It's a real tennis event. You'd be surprised how much fucking tennis they play in the world, man. I swear to God. Like, it's like more than soccer. Like, look, there's tennis right now. I'm going to check when I wake up in the morning if there's live tennis. I swear, man. I think there's like tennis on 24 hours a fucking day. They're playing tennis somewhere in the world. But we done. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Donnie Rightside will join us tomorrow. I'm going to send Big Man on campus on invite for our TV show tomorrow. Morency Unfiltered. We'll tape it at 3:30, Big Man. And we'll see you guys. Game time decisions tomorrow. If you missed my Huru and your Sunday video, it's pretty good. I lose it. Rip the Raiders, pretty good. Throw a garbage can. It's on the Fantasy Sports Network YouTube page. Support Sportsbook Review by going over and betting on one of the books on their website. And click from their website so they know that SBR sent you there. Other than that, you're on your own. May the winners be yours. We'll see you tomorrow. Later.